Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Hey,
Hi.
fella, what's going on?
Hi.
We are at the verge of World War III.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy, man. I've been freaking out over the last few weeks, at nighttime. At nighttime, I'll be alone, and I just start thinking about the future of the world, and I start legit freaking out. What would happen if we were legit Armageddon, Mad Max, nuclear war? How far are we away from that? And it could just give me anxiety before I go to sleep. I'd just be laying there going, fuck, how does this all resolve? And then this fucking Israel thing pops off, and now I'm legit freaked out.
I've been definitely buying a lot of stuff lately for my house, end of the world shit. I'm getting Tesla solar right now,
That's
battery packs so I can live off the grid. And
Yeah, that's a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get your house solar, that's a big move. Just fucking a bit of at a certain point in time, what's the electricity even getting you other than keeping the lights on, though? What I'm scared of is all communications are gone. How hard would it be to shut down our power grid? How hard would it be to blow a few satellites up and no one knows shit?
yeah, that's why that Starlink, the satellites thing. I'm thinking about getting that, even though I have great internet, but
Yeah.
just because what if? It's scary.
Yeah, I was in the mountains in Utah and they had Starlink and it was great. It works everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, but people keep thinking it's UFOs.
Oh yeah,
People keep filming it flying. What is that?
yeah, the dots in the air.
Dude, everybody's looking for UFOs now, more than ever.
Yeah. Ring cameras are putting out $1 million bounty if you catch something on your Ring cameras right now. They will pay you $1 million.
That's good because
Yeah.
they know they don't have to pay that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sweet, very smart. Did you see that one in Vegas that they captured on camera? The dashboard cam of a police car caught this thing streaking through the sky, and then this family said that it landed in their backyard, and that these tall creatures got out of it. They saw the tall creatures. But then when George Knapp was going to interview them, I think it was on 2 separate occasions, they just fucking wouldn't answer the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think also, they might have been they might have made the whole story up, right? That's most likely. But also, imagine how freaked out you'd be if all of a sudden the whole world wanted to talk to you because of a UFO in your backyard. And I don't know if they're legal. I believe they spoke Spanish. See if you can find that story. Because it was at the beginning, I was like, whoa. And then I was like, what?
Right.
It's one of those things you want it to be true. So you start going, whoa, what is going on with this story? And then you read it more, you read into it, and more
Yeah, that's all those stories, right?
every one of them.
Yeah. It's never we filmed it on the new iPhone. Look how crisp it is.
The only ones that I ever really make me pause are the ones from the military guys. And the ones from the military guys, the more I think about it, the more I think that is some absolute top secret shit that the United States government has developed. I think they have some super high-tech drone technology that operates on some very sophisticated propulsion system that we're not aware of.
Or different countries,
I think it's America.
think
The
it is?
reason why I think it's America is because these things always happen where military bases are. One of them happened off the coast of the Nimitz in San Diego. San Diego's where all the SEALs are. That's where a bunch of military base, there's a bunch of exercises that go on in the sea outside of San Diego. So that makes sense. And they were doing fighter jet testing and training out there. That's how they saw this thing. So that kind of makes sense to me. And then the other ones are in the East Coast, again, in the same kind of airspace where these guys practice all the time. And I had this one guy on, Ryan Graves, and he said that when they upgraded the equipment on their jets in 2014, I believe, that's when they started seeing all these things. That's when they're like, what the fuck is going on? Now, is that an accident? If they wanted to find out, whether or not these things you could detect them, whether or not we could employ them or deploy them rather without anybody knowing, wouldn't you test them with your own guys? I would. Say, hey, here's the rules. Don't shoot at those things. If you see them, we don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah.
But they probably do know what the fuck they are. But also real aliens. I leave everything on the table. I think if you had a pie of the UFO pie, right? Most of it's bullshit. Like a good 70, 65% is
low.
bullshit.
That's really low,
You know
Joe.
me. Come on, man. I got an alien problem. I got a real alien problem. I got a UFO on the desk. We got a fucking alien head on the wall.
Yeah.
But I'm also a realist, at least in some ways. And I look at it and I go, okay, most of it's just bullshit. And then misunderstandings. So what's misunderstandings? How many of them are shooting stars, which happen all the time? I saw one the other day. It was dope. Just the light, the sky just shot up and then it dies off. I was like, ooh, it's pretty. How many of them are just fighter jets, shit like that? Have you ever seen like a stealth bomber? Have you ever seen one of those?
Yeah.
In the sky?
Not in the sky. I mean, at an air museum.
We were filming Fear Factor in 2001, and it was right after 9/11. So we were out at what's the fucking city we were at? We would go there all the time. Palmdale. So Palmdale's like way out there, a lot of crack. It was a sketchy area, but also these big open roads that we could close down. And so we would do these stunts with like giant semi trucks barreling down the road, and these people had to climb on the outside of the truck, shit like that. And so we were out there and we saw this thing just flying through the air like a fucking something out of Star Wars. Everybody stopped. We were like, whoa. It's a stealth bomber just flying through the sky. They look so sick. They look like they're not of this world.
You're talking about the Blackbird, right? Is that what it's called, Blackbird or something?
I think there's more than one of them, right?
The sexy one that's like
Yeah.
all black and it looks like it has muscles and shit.
It was
Yeah.
sexy. It was very sexy. It was very black. It was very very spaceship looking. See if you get a video of that thing. Is there more than one?
Yeah, well, there's a couple different stealth. There's the B2 stealth, which is probably the big one you're talking about on the screen.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that's
the
exactly what it looked like.
That's the new
That's
one.
exactly what it looked like. When I saw that thing, I was like, oh my God.
There's a couple other ones.
If you didn't know, come on, man. And you saw that thing flying through the sky, like, give me one of those images, like that image right there to your right of your cursor right there. Yeah, click on that. If you just saw that, you'd be like, oh my God, we're getting invaded for sure.
Especially at night. Can you imagine what is there a video of that at night? I bet that looks like a UFO.
I bet you can't see it at night. Like, the whole idea is that it evades radar. How does that even work?
Oh, here's one.
Oh, this is...
That's from the ground. It looks like a plane.
God, these cameras.
It does look a little bit like a plane. But those three lights, don't people always say they see like three lights in the sky? How many of them are this thing? Probably a shit ton. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody always talks about a triangle-shaped craft, right? Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Fucking there it is.
Yep.
The ones that they spotted over Phoenix. Remember they had that the Phoenix lights?
And they always say, oh, it was going slow. And then out of nowhere, it just jet out of nowhere super fast.
Yeah, that's another one.
Ooh, that's a nice.
Yeah. But you think about it, if it has three lights under it and it's flying through the air and it's that high, all it'd have to do is turn those three lights off and you're like, oh my God, it disappeared.
Yeah.
You know? You would have no idea what's going on. So now on the ground like that looks like a jet. Like a super dope jet. What's the other one?
I think we have a drone. I think I was looking into one
Stealth
that's
drone.
like not officially. I think it's like the SR-72 hasn't been officially announced.
What's that one on the far left? The
this
white one? Yeah, that looks like a spaceship. Look at that thing.
Wow, that looks
Navy.
cool.
Fuck yeah, it looks cool. I mean, if you were, like when I was in high school in the 1980s, he told me like what a jet's gonna look like in 2003. I'm like, oh, like that, or 2023. Rather.
Yeah.
I'd be like that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's an unmanned aircraft. That's 10 years ago.
Whoa. Yeah. See, so 10 years ago. So this thing off the coast of the Nimitz, this is 2004. So that's almost 20 years ago. That's the only thing that gives me pause. I was like, did they really have that kind of technology 20 years ago, where something could jet off into the sky and go from 50,000 feet above sea level to 0 in a second? Did they have that back then? Maybe. Maybe they had that, but just they didn't have any way to use it, and so they just hold on to it. I mean, like, what would you use that for? Like, if they did have it, here's the thing. If they had something like that, like the Tic Tac, have you seen the Tic Tac one? Mm-hmm. That's the videos that's the one that's the most legit, because it's two separate jets multiple eyeballs on this thing, video evidence of this thing, radar data.
Check this thing out. This is a Chinese drone, and it says it moves with bursts of compressed air to maneuver.
This testbed drone can influence its upcoming 6th-generation fighter design. New drone features active flow technology, which uses bursts of high-pressure air from actuators embedded in the aircraft's body for maneuvering instead of traditional moving controlled surfaces such as, I don't know how to say that, ailerons, rudders, and elevators. Wow. So it uses compressed air to flutter and maneuver. But what does that thing do if winds are fucked up? Can it push against the winds? Like, how's that air work?
Probably falls apart. It's made in China.
Bro, they made your phone. They
Yeah.
make great stuff, too.
I'm just kidding.
But that's the funny thing, right? We would think made in China is cheap. Bitch,
Right.
made in China is everything.
Yeah.
We can't make a single phone over here. That is the dumbest thing of
Isn't
all
that
time.
crazy?
Yeah, I've been talking
They
about
tried,
it on stage. Not hard.
Yeah.
Fucking, if China could do it,
Right.
If we've talked about this before, but if they made a phone in America and you didn't have to like feel terrible about people working in the cobalt mines to get the cobalt out of the ground, and if you didn't have to feel terrible about people working 16 hours a day, sleeping in cots, jumping off the roof, manufacturing it, you'd be happy to pay a little more. Okay, unlike traditional AFC, which uses high-pressure air to maneuver an aircraft, plasma AFC works by using a thin membrane in front of a flying wing aircraft which ionizes air molecules. The ionized air molecules generate a plasma shower that accelerates the airflow, which can keep the craft from stalling if it goes down a particular airspeed. For example, China's plasma AFC is claimed to prevent stalls even if the aircraft speed drops to unusually low 108 kilometers per hour. Isn't that funny? That's low. But that's like, what is that? 108 is like 65, something like 70. Like, what's 200 miles an hour, or 200 kilometers is like 60 miles an hour, right? Because I know that from cars. You know, like, you see, like, in... We were supposed to adopt the metric system when I was in fucking grammar school, bro.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get on board with soccer, and we were supposed to get on board with the metric system.
It's Celsius, right?
Yep. That's part of it. It's all. Ours is so goofy.
It's so stupid.
Ours is second only to England. England still uses stone for people. He weighs 16 stone.
What's that even?
I think it's 13 pounds. Is that what a stone is?
Something like that. It's like 13 point something.
We Googled it once, like what the root of that was. Like they had just made a measurement in the fucking 14 pounds?
Yeah.
So that's like from back in the, probably the barbarian days. Mm-hmm. This stone will be how we measure food in gold. Mm-hmm. And however many of them, we have 3 stone. It's just like, it's so medieval. Stone.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird. But it's weird that we're not all on board with one measurement and we fucked it up. Like, we easily could have gave up on inches. What are we, like, fucking, are we really committed to inches? Mm-hmm. What? Are we really committed to yards? Are yards important to you? Why isn't it meters? The whole world's meters.
At least we're all going USB-C now, right? That's the one thing, that and straws.
Yeah. But they had to get threatened by Europe to go to USB-C.
Yeah.
Apple loves their walled garden. Ooh, they're so good at it. They're the best at it. They really are. That company is amazing what it's done. Because it's taking something that everyone has, a cell phone, and making it so if you have theirs, it's significantly better. You can send each other videos. You can do the FaceTime. It's native to the phone. You don't have to download anything. It works on everybody's phone now. Even works on an Android phone. You can AirDrop. And then if you get a new phone, all of your shit just transfers over instantly. Mm-hmm. And if you are a comic and you have your notes on your phone, it's so sweet. You just oh my God, I lost my phone. I lost all my notes. No, I didn't. Log on, bang, new phone, bang, there's your notes. Mm-hmm. They're just so good. And I know Android has a lot of those features. I know it does.
Usually
Don't-
before.
Don't get mad. Yeah, they're better than ever at innovation. They're the first to make foldables. They have legit foldables now. You were showing me yours the other day.
Yeah, that Pixel. Yeah,
Dude,
it's
that
nice.
is sweet.
Yeah.
That is fucking sweet.
Apple needs to jump on that. You know they will. In like 2 years, they'll have a foldable, I bet.
They'll be way behind the curve.
Yeah, but they won't have the crease, I bet. I bet that's the big thing.
I got to tell you, it bummed me out when I found out that Samsung was faking those moon pictures. It really bummed me out.
Yeah, because you actually told me about it, or you sent me one,
Yeah, I
and
sent you
you
one
were
when I was
like,
on
"Oh,"
vacation.
and that made me buy the Galaxy S21 or whatever it was at the time. I was like, I have to get this, and it's still, yeah, it's still fine, I guess.
The camera's incredible. The camera's amazing. It's a very, very, very good camera. But so's the iPhone camera. The only thing that the Samsung camera legitimately does do is it zooms in way better. Like they can zoom in from it's a crazy zoom. I know it's electronic. It's like optical up to a certain extent.
5, I think.
Yeah, and then it goes. What does Apple's do?
Apple's is 5 and it zooms in, but the megapixels are bigger on the Galaxy S23 and stuff like that, Ultras.
Right, but I mean, where are you looking at your phone, your pictures for the most part? You're looking at them on your phone,
right?
So how much of a difference does that make?
It's not that big of a difference. It's the quality of the lens and stuff. Like the new iPhone is like 48 megapixels, but their new zoom is this new zoom lens. It's 5 optical now, but so many of the tests show like the quality of the the Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's like almost exactly the same, and it's like twice the megapixels. So megapixels doesn't really matter anymore. It's actually the detail up to a certain point of megapixels.
But doesn't megapixels matter? Say like if you want, one of the things, Sony has one of the most interesting phones. Because Sony is out there wilding. And what Sony's done is they said, look, no one's buying this, but we're just going to make a phone with the craziest fucking camera we could put on it with the most professional features. Like a guy like you or Jamie. Jamie really knows how to work a camera. And a lot of people that are like legit photographers, they love that Sony phone because you go into it, it's like a computer. There's so many features, so many options. What is it called?
Oh, the new one. It has like the same kind of setup as their like professional camera lens, like the menus and stuff like that.
Yeah, MKBHD.
Yeah.
He went over it.
Yeah,
and he was just talking about like, who's this phone for? Because the camera's incredible. It does so many things. It's all the options are. It's for someone who really understands settings, and you really want to go. And you can make movies with that, man. Like legit movies with that phone.
Well, what's funny though is that's just software for the most part, and you could actually download programs on your iPhone and do exactly the same stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not the quality of the cameras?
I mean, the lens is great and stuff, but I would really like to see it versus the new iPhone, and I bet the iPhone's probably better.
Interesting. So if you used a similar program.
Yeah. It's like a Camera Raw. I forget the name of the...
Do you use one of those, Jamie? Do you ever use one of them camera?
Nah, if I'm taking a photo like that, I wouldn't use my iPhone. The iPhone's just like when I'm at the concert, I just try to take the best thing I can real quick.
Yeah.
The correct answer for that's the best camera is always the one you have on you, not the one you can go buy or whatever. But
What is the most useless film footage of all time that people never watch?
fireworks.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say.
Unless
That's
it's
exactly
just a
what I was gonna
journaling
say.
thing, but unless it's like a self-journal, obviously on 4th of July, these people were with me, that was the song playing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But
No, that's kind of cool.
that's
kinda
other
cool.
than that, you're never going to watch them.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. You can buy legit fireworks in Texas. And my poor boy Marshall, who's the sweetest, he is so scared of lightning and so scared of thunder and fireworks rather. He won't sit still. Like we try to just watch TV with him, and he's just jumping up on the couch with you and jumping on the ground. Like, dude, settle.
Yeah, same.
It's okay, buddy.
Panting.
I thought that if he sat next to me and I pet him, he would be cool, but nope. He was like, I gotta get out of here. We're getting bombed.
Yeah.
Firework. And he wasn't like that before. I don't know what set it off. Moving to Texas set it off. Well, I think it's because people are doing them on my block.
Yeah.
Fucking
And
I
we
was
don't have
doing it.
lightning really in,
Yeah.
in LA.
Right. Bro, we get some lightning out here.
Different, right? It's not regular lightning. It's kind of like war lightning or something. It's scary.
It's real. It's real. It's the shit that the people had to face in the covered wagons when they're trying to make their way across here.
Yeah.
Terrifying. A lightning hit right across from my house. Mm-hmm. It was like I saw the bolt through the sky. The sky lit up, and instantly you heard boom, And I was like, whoa, it's right there.
I sent you the photo of down the street from my house. The whole house blew up from a thing of lightning. The whole thing.
Oh, that's right. You know who almost got hit? Forrest Galante.
I figured you knew, but
Yeah, I saw the video. He was in a river, and I'm like a foot away from him, 2 feet away from him. I mean, he would have been dead. And this fucking dude goes, do you know who he is? He's a wildlife biologist. Look at that, right behind him.
Shit.
Show that again.
it'll do it again.
Is there sound to this?
I'm trying it. I don't know.
So he's out there in the water. Nothing? Can you get no sound? I'm waiting.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could have edited it. There it is. Boom.
Oh shit.
So where did it hit?
I think behind him.
Yeah.
He made a longer video about it, and this it says
It says I got hit by lightning.
he says he felt it.
Well, of course he felt it. It's probably right next to him. I mean, if you
And it's
stand
in the
next
water,
to
right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's in the water. Does the water conduct the electricity? I mean, there has to be a certain...
Yeah, it has to dilute
Right.
it a little.
Well, I remember growing up, they're like, don't take a shower when it's
Yeah.
or get on the phone for whatever reason. But I guess it could go through the power.
Well,
line or-
obviously,
Yeah.
when people kill people, they throw a toaster in the bathtub, right?
Right.
That was the thing that people would do. Or kill themselves.
Yeah.
What a fucked up way to die.
Can you imagine?
Throw a toaster in a bathtub. But I wonder, like, it's got to be at a certain point, it doesn't work anymore, right? Otherwise, it would kill everything in the
Ocean.
river.
Yeah.
Yeah, it killed the whole ocean.
Right.
So it has to be like, a distance
Right.
where it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have sound.
You don't have sound?
The computer, I don't have sound on it for some reason.
Oh, you want to reboot?
Let me just figure it out for 1 second.
Okay. If you have to reboot, just let us know. Yeah, it's that's a fucked up way to go. My friend Remy got hit by lightning when he was a kid.
Really?
It fucked him up, he said. Yeah, I think it fucked up his hearing for a long time, and he woke up outside and realized what had happened.
It's always weird when people get hit by lightning multiple times. It's like, how is
yeah.
that possible?
I wonder what that is. Do you think some people are just like, there's something about them where God's like, get the fuck out of here?
Or they're just idiots. They're always like out in rainstorms holding like umbrellas. Like, you know?
But there was one dude, I think he had a record. He got he got hit by lightning like 6 or 7 times, like something bonkers.
Yeah. Like within like a week, there's some people that get hit. Like,
You must be thinking God's trying to get rid of you.
yeah. Probably.
That's a crazy way to die. A bolt of electricity comes out of the heavens. Like back in the day, imagine being like back in the Roman days and not knowing what the fuck's going on. And you see someone get hit by lightning because they had swords and shit. I hereby take this land.
Yeah.
Bitch, you ain't taking shit.
And that's how He-Man became.
They probably thought back then that the gods were angry at that person. I mean, how many guys like were holding up a sword and they got hit by lightning?
Right. I'm
Probably
sure a
was-
lot. I'm sure there's.
I'm probably like
yeah.
thousands.
'Cause they're always on mountains, you know. Like, they're never like in
What a way
caves
to
doing
go.
it.
No wonder why they had like God of Thunder. You know, they thought like the gods made decisions to take someone out. What a fucked up God that would be. If that really was what's going on, the God's like, he's this fucking guy. just blows you up.
Did you see that kid that got electrocuted? There were 3 kids sitting on a train track, and one of them like leans back to like lean back, and he hit the 3rd rail.
Oh my God.
And then his girlfriend looked over and he sees him going like this and grabs him, and then she gets
it.
electrocuted.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did they all die?
Last I heard, they both went to the hospital, so I don't know. But the video is disturbing because the kid just kind of lays back.
I don't even want to see that.
Yeah.
Because
It's a haunting video for sure.
you can't unsee that.
Any of those electricity videos, like the people with like the power line guys, those videos, or
Happened to a kid at a college campus recently in Ohio. I think he climbed a power pole.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more.
I don't think he died though.
There was one where I was watching a guy. It was some other country. They're speaking a different language. He was climbing up, trying to fix something on a power line, and he got zapped. He just fell backwards like 50 feet. And you're watching him fall. Like, fucked up way to go.
Yeah.
Working on power, like electricians, whew, boy, you better know what the fuck you're doing. That's why building regulations are so goddamn important. When people are like, we need less regulation. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you need building regulation, dude. Have you ever had a problem where builders built something in your house squirrely?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's real. There's some squirrely dudes out there that they don't pay attention to the regs. They don't look at how they're making things and whether or not they're doing it correctly or doing it in a dangerous way. People are goofy. Jesus, there we go. Now we got sound.
Start playing your Mariah Carey song.
I would make sure it's the right song.
Jimmy's playlist gets revealed.
I was careful.
It's all Taylor Swift.
I was careful. Deftones song on purpose.
Deftones. I forgot about Deftones.
Oh yeah. Did you go to ACO this weekend?
No,
of course
I
not.
didn't. No, it's too cuckoo. Too cuckoo for me. But I've been seeing a lot of concerts lately. Man, Austin is such a great fucking place in terms of like how many artists roll through here. I used to think like God, if you lived there, like fucking you'd have to go somewhere to see everything. No, everything comes here.
Yeah.
Everything comes here. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, every fucking band, Roger Waters. We've seen so many concerts here. It's been incredible. Zach Bryan. So many concerts. So much going on here. Jelly Roll was here the other day.
Oh yeah, Jelly Roll's a cool guy.
He's the best.
What a nice guy, huh?
I love him. He's so sweet to everybody. He's just all hugs and love. The moment I met him, they told me the Jelly Roll was coming up to see Ron White, and I happened to be at the club. I wasn't even working that night. I was being like a manager. It was like when the club was, I was just sort of making sure everything was cool. And I went to say hi to Ron, and they said Jelly Roll's here, and I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go meet him. And whenever you meet someone famous, you're like, hope he's cool.
Right.
He's like, my man. He gives me this big hug. I'm like, oh, you're just how I thought you would be.
Yeah, that's how I was with Post Malone. I
Yes.
had actually said out loud to my girlfriend months before I met him. I was like, that's one of the top 5 guys I want to meet in person, just hang with. Cut to months later, me and him are at Mitzi's, and we're drawing We're having a dick off, drawing who draw the best dicks. He was great at it. Like he beat me.
No, he's so cool. He's exactly how you would hope he is.
Yeah.
He's so cool. He's such a kind person. He's so nice, and he's so talented, and he's so fun. And when I told him we did the podcast, I'm like, you want to go see Kill Tony? And he's like, yeah. I go, you want to go on stage? Let's do this. He's like, how do I do this? I go, fuck, come on, man, let's go. Let's fucking do it. He's like, all right, let's fucking do it. And he just hops up there for Kill Tony. He had no idea what Kill Tony was.
And he stayed.
And he was great.
I thought he was going to be in and out like 10 minutes. He stayed the whole.
He was great.
Yeah, he was amazing.
And he was like supportive of people. And that dude who sang opera.
Yeah.
How
Oh, yeah.
good was that guy?
Uh-huh.
That was incredible. Like, bro, bail on the jokes or work that into your act somehow.
Yeah.
Like a guy like that with great jokes. And he did have some great jokes.
Oh yeah, he's funny.
That fucking opening 1 minute that he had was solid. That's when they put him up against Hans. They were going to have like a joke off. And apparently Hans smoked him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope that guy didn't just burn out his best material in that 1 minute. Probably did.
Yeah.
Because it was a solid bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, but it's a solid premise. Good
Right.
bit. And I was thinking, like, if that guy hit punchlines and then sang, oh my God. Like work it into the punchlines.
Yeah.
Like, like saying I used to be an opera singer and sometimes people are so fucking stupid, I just want to sing at them. You know what I mean? Like he could have a thing where, because his voice is insane. Like when he did that, like, when someone has a hidden skill like that, you're like, what? You can play guitar? And you see them fucking, like, whoa, I never thought that. Like that guy, like who expected that to come out of that guy? You expect like a comic. He's a comic. He's probably fucked off most of his life. Probably had a problem with drugs. Maybe he's got a few DUIs. Maybe he was in trouble with the law. Maybe he sold drugs when he was younger or something. There's always like something kooky with comics. But you see someone who's I'm a trained opera singer. Like,
Yeah.
but again, that would be like how you would rebel. If you're like singing the classics all the time. You're like, oh my God, I want to just talk about farts.
Serious.
You like get to this point where you're just like, I mean, if you like live rigidly, like if they like that was always a thing in high school. When I was in high school, there was girls that went to this all Catholic school, all girl Catholic school, high school, and those are the wildest girls. Everybody knew it. It was like an open discussion. Like, dude, these Catholic girls are wild. Because they were just kept from boys and told, like, stay away from boys. And they were never around boys during the day. Because all day it was just girls, girls, girls. And all they did is talk about boys. And when those girls would go to parties and, like, and meet guys, they were, like, aggressive. They, like, wanted to hook up with guys. It was different. It's like, and other girls are like, these fucking Catholic school girl sluts. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, which is like, you know, that's one of those religions where like they put the fucking brakes on you. They tell you, you know, you're a sinner. You know, you can go to hell for this. You know, don't fuck around. I found a song from 1970 that's a Jesus song, a pro-Jesus song, and it fucking jams, dude. It's pretty interesting. I'm going to send this to you, Jamie.
Jesus song.
Yeah, it's. I'll tell you the guy as soon as I pull it up. Hold on a second. My playlist is so long. I keep out saying I'm going to publish this on Spotify, and I swear to God I will.
Publish your playlist?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah, you
Green
should
Room
definitely do that.
playlist. All right, let me share this with Jamie.
By the way, listen to Post Malone's cover of Nirvana. He just played a bunch of Nirvana songs during COVID. That's how I found out about Post. Some of the best Nirvana covers I've ever heard in my life. He just kills it.
He covers Sturgill Simpson too, man.
Yeah.
Like he's doing at Stagecoach, which is the thing that is connected to Coachella,
Right.
the country music one. He's gonna do a whole country set
No
there.
shit.
Yeah,
Hell
dude,
yeah.
he's so talented. He's so talented. Like when we went to see him live, we went to Houston to see his concert.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Fucking amazing. The energy that guy has. It's like he just fucking goes for it. And the show is so good. The show's so solid. So exciting. It just really makes you want to do better. You know, you see someone just crush it like that, you're like, God, I'm gonna fucking do better.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I want to do better.
Yeah.
You get that song?
Yeah, I was waiting for you guys to.
Yeah, listen to this shit. This is I think it's from 1970. Larry Norman.
Sipping whiskey from a paper cup. You drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. And take a look at what you've done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow fingered from your cigarettes. Your hands are shaking while your body sweats.
Why don't you come to Jesus? He's got the answer. Listen to this. No, listen to this. It's good, man. The lyrics are good. And it's also, you have to look at it, you're in a time capsule. It was 1970.
Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day. And you're still looking for the perfect play. You think rock and roll will set you free, honey. You'll be dead before you're 33. Shooting junk till you're half insane. A broken needle in your purple vein.
Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answer.
Wow.
Good song, right?
Yeah. Now, is all his stuff religious?
I don't know.
According to Wikipedia, he's one of the pioneers of Christian rock music.
But this is good, dude.
Yeah, this is good.
But you never hung around enough to find out who you really are.
You say you want to be a superstar, but you never hung around enough to find out who you really are.
Yellow fingers from the cigarettes. I like that line.
Shooting junk until you're half insane.
Good.
It's good. Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day. It's a good fucking song.
Yeah.
And again, 1970.
Back to when you were a child. Your soul was free, your heart ran wild. Each day was different and life was a thrill. You knew tomorrow would be better still. But things have changed, you're much older now. If you're unhappy and you
I like
don't
it.
know how.
Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers. See, here's the thing. I've heard of churches that are like rock and roll churches. Like there was this gal that I knew that worked for Fear Factor, and she was into like this rock and roll church. Like I think she at one point in time I don't know what, she was of a different religious persuasion, and then she got into this like heavy duty Christian church that was in town, where the guy was like a cool guy, young guy. I go, is he fucking everybody? And she's like, no.
Whatever.
I'm like, I know how those go. Like,
Yeah,
he's the
exactly.
cool guy. He's the cool guy who likes rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And he also likes Jesus. Maybe. Like, we're always hoping for the guy that's really all he wants to do. That's really it. He's just really about Jesus and love, and he's not trying to fuck everybody. But that guy has not shown up yet.
Right.
Like almost all those guys, you know, like the guy who was showing his dick root and when he's hanging out with Justin Bieber. Remember, we called that guy out a long time ago.
Dick root. I love
We called that guy out a long time ago because, like, he's too hot. He's too hot. Like, he's too hot and he's too charismatic. Like, why are you so hot? Why are you so charismatic? Maybe you like poor. You know, maybe you're trying to develop a cult where, like all other cults, you get to bang everybody. Because it's like every one of them. David Koresh, Waco. Like, I mean, I'm sure you could go down the list. It's like every one of them become like the holy hell for the place that I almost bought.
Yeah.
The guy's fucking everybody.
Thank God he didn't buy that.
Thank God. I should have. It would have been a better story. They're both good stories. The location we have now is absolutely perfect. But that location would have been dope too.
Yeah.
You just would have had to drive there, but people would have drove there. And also we would have had Philip was going to do a restaurant there, Philip Franklin Lee. We had a good setup there, but there was too much shit that was like, this is not set up good. Like
Right.
there was a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Problems to the point where like this could take a lot. This could be a lot of issues that I don't even want to disclose.
Right. Yeah.
It was enough where we're like, I got to get out of this one.
Yeah.
But then when the mothership spot, the Ritz, opened up, I was like, oh my God. Like, this is a theater from 1927. And then we walked into it. It's like the theater was like, this is the spot. Like it was talking to us. It sounds so kooky, but that place, like, one of the reasons why I think it's so fun there is because the building wants us to be there. The building's happy. That building was lonely. It sat there for years, unoccupied. Alamo Draft House closed down. Nothing was in there. And, you know, it probably missed the music, man. Stevie Ray Vaughan used to play there. Probably missed the fun, the energy of the live crowds. So, like, when we first opened up, I know it sounds stupid, but it felt like the building was happy.
It's always been there entertaining people, music,
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
comedy now. Like it's literally never been like negative energy there.
Well, it was a porn theater, I
Well,
think.
I mean,
at one
that's
point
even
in time.
better. Well,
That was back when dudes didn't have VHS tapes. They'd have to go somewhere and whack off. Could you imagine if you got addicted to porn and the only way to get it is to go to a movie theater with a raincoat on?
do you remember that place in San Francisco where it was a movie theater and there was all these people sitting there?
Where was that?
We were at Cobb's once and we just like went into this weird, like, it was like, I think, like connected to a strip club or something, but they had this whole section, and I think it was me and Ari. I thought you were with me, but we went around this corner, and it was like a straight movie theater, and people just sitting there, like 4 people, and
Watching porn?
Watching porn.
Yeah, they had one of those in West Hollywood that was a gay one that was open pretty recently, up until like at least like the 2000s. Because I remember we would always laugh about the titles. The titles were hilarious.
Yeah.
The titles of these fucking movies were amazing.
I wonder if that's still. I doubt it's.
I don't
there.
think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the thing. But like that's one of those things where like they get mad if dudes jerk off there, which is so kooky. It's like, what kind of a business do you think you're running?
Right.
You know, like that's when Pee Wee Herman got arrested.
That's right.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
He was at a theater.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. I mean, that was back when you weren't allowed to jerk off.
He's just sitting there masturbating.
I know, and he's a superstar. That's what's crazy. The guy's this giant global superstar. To this day, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is like one of my... I fucking love that movie. It's so fun. I remember I went to see that movie with my high school girlfriend, and we were both just howling, laughing. We couldn't... It was so silly. Tell him Large Marge sent you. Like, it's so fun. This fucking dude... and his big adventure. It was a fun movie, you know? It like takes you on a little journey. It was a good time. To have that poor guy get raked through the coals because he was beaten off.
It is weird though when celebrities like that do stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
almost like
They wanna get
he wanted to
caught.
get caught type thing. You know?
I think it's probably... I mean, if you're... I mean... There were VHS tapes back then, though.
Oh yeah, there
That's
was.
just weird.
Yeah,
That's
Or
where
like
it gets weird.
George Michael going into a rest stop multiple times, you know. And
Yeah, I think he was tortured. I think when you have a secret like that, like your secret is like literally your sexual identity. Like you're pretending you're into girls, but you're really into guys, and you get famous you get hugely famous as this, sex symbol. I gotta have faith. I gotta, and he's fucking talented too, man. He was so good. And then you can't tell everybody that you're gay because you'll lose what percentage of the crowd? The
Wham,
girls.
you're screwed.
Wham. You son of a bitch.
So dumb.
That's awful. I mean, we know a couple guys that are in the closet and they live in hell.
Yeah.
They live in hell.
Try working with them.
That's not true. You son of a bitch. I wasn't talking about Tony. You son of a bitch. Everybody always assumes I'm talking about Tony. Tony's so straight. It's so crazy.
Ryan. Yes, totally.
But yeah, definitely. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers. Sucking dick until you go insane. Dancing naked to Purple Rain. Why don't you look into Jesus?
You should write your own new lyrics to that.
That's how if Christians really wanted to get somebody, or any religion, they really want to get someone, have some dope artwork attached to your ideology. Have something that people dig that's attached to it. Because if some rock and roll, if there was a Jimi Hendrix alive today and he was really into one certain kind of religion, you know how many people would join that religion? A fuckload. How many people looked into Islam because they were Khabib Nurmagomedov fans? I bet a lot. When you can get something awesome attached to your religion, that's a good selling point. It's like being a spokesperson for
I'm surprised Scientology hasn't done that yet. They are. But
they fucking 100% have.
But have a band that's the soundtrack to them, or something.
Well, when it comes to bands, I know Beck. Beck's a Scientologist, right? Is he still a Scientologist?
I think he was, and I think he backed out of it because I
you
remember
allowed to back out.
I don't know, because I remember when I found out I was really crushed. I was like, no, Beck.
Well, I know some really amazing Scientologists.
Oh gosh,
yeah, I know quite a few of them that are really, and I think it's a compartmentalization thing. I think if you can shut off that part of your brain and just give it over to an ideology, it leaves a lot of room for the other stuff. How much? I was telling you the other day, I'm sitting at home, wondering about the fate of the world. Are we literally going to be in a fucking mad? Because you don't think anything's going to go bad until it goes bad. You remember the day before 9/11? It was just fucking normal America, yay. And then the next day, chaos. And then everyone's riding around with an American flag on their car. Yeah. Anything can happen, and if anything does happen, how much is the world going to change? I mean, if you think about any sort of horrific natural disaster that has hit humanity since the beginning of time, whether it's super volcanoes or earthquakes or any of these chaotic things, when those things happen, when the Mongols roll into your town, when Nazi Germany starts taking over Europe, fuck, we want to think that can't happen, but 100% that can happen. And when I'm alone at night and I'm a little high, that's the thing that freaks me out the most. The things that freaks me out the most is international conflicts between superpowers and how they're willing to kill a certain amount of people, right? So what's the number where they won't cross that line? Because if you've got groups of people that are willing to shoot missiles into apartment buildings and fly jets down and gun people down, and you've seen all those crazy drones, if we're willing to kill a certain amount of people, what's the line where they won't cross? What's the line? Is it 1 million people? Is it a nuclear bomb? What is the line?
There's probably no line.
And when you think about how much people loved America after 9/11, the whole world was on America's side. And how much we fucked that up in 23 years or 22 years.
Yeah.
Fucked that up. A million innocent people die because of the Iraq War. I mean, that everybody knows that. Too.
We need a 9/12 immediately.
We probably are due for one. That's
Right.
what's scary when you see this Israel thing. It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
It scares the shit out of me because when I see something like that happen, there's no clear way this resolves peacefully. Like, this is bad. This is real bad. And Israel's going to go into Palestine. They're already bombing, and there's all. And is there a retaliation for that? And what happens then? And what other countries get involved? And fuck, man. It just really puts into perspective that there's some shit going on that you're not thinking about because it's not in your life. So if you're a guy like you or I, let's say us, because we're comedians, so we're hanging out at the comedy club, we're doing podcasts, that's our world. Our world is fucking around with people. Our world is telling jokes. Our world is hanging out with our friends and doing shows. Their world is killing people. Their world is controlling resources, and it's not, they don't play fair. Like, they release stories that aren't true. They use disinformation to switch narratives. They have social media posts that aren't real so they can get people riled up about certain things. And then they're also coordinating military attacks. That's their world. We just don't think about that world because we're not in that world. But people have been in that world since the beginning of time. What they've done with us is they've sheltered us in such a way and then censored all the mainstream media in such a way that they completely control the narrative of how you think about what can and cannot happen in the world and why these things are happening. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing that, like, in your face, where you're like, what? And you're also seeing people with massive amounts of conspiracies now, right? And whenever something like that happens, there's always the people that are like, how did they not know this was going to happen? Like, isn't this the most sophisticated surveillance systems in the world? Israel's they're the people that invented Pegasus. That's that shit that gets on your phone where they can listen to anybody, and they have that iron dome that protects them against missiles. Did you ever see that working?
Mm-mm.
They were just showing it the other night. Show videos of the Iron Dome working. It's crazy. So as Hamas is launching these missiles, they're shooting missiles at the missiles and blowing them up in the sky.
Okay.
It's wild. Look at this.
Yeah. It's old school Missile Command. Remember that video?
Yeah. I mean, you have to be 100% accurate because any one of these is going to kill a bunch of people. But I mean, just imagine living in Israel and you go outside and you're seeing missiles getting hit by bombs. Look at this.
It's insane.
Look at this. They're just jacking them in the sky. But if they miss one, that's a wrap. I mean, how much do each one of these missiles that they're shooting at these other missiles cost?
Right. That's what I was thinking. Is $1 million.
And how are they getting all the money to shoot those missiles at Israel? Like, all of it is crazy.
Yeah.
And someone tweeted, see if this is true, that this happened right after the Biden administration released a bunch of funds to Iran. I think it was like $6 billion.
Really?
And then these people in Hamas are thanking Iran for funding this.
Wow.
But it's what's real?
Yeah.
What's real?
That sounds
how much of this is real?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Air Force successfully tested secret new stealth missile with mock nuke.
A
Stealth missile
basically, yeah.
with a mock nuke. Okay. B-52. America's nuclear weapons are aging, and the Pentagon plans to spend more than $600 billion to keep the potentially world-ending weapons in fighting shape. What a great idea.
In this article I saw, it said that they were being controlled by floppy disks up until 2019.
Well, those are accurate.
That
It is
about right.
top of the food chain.
They're updating tech, but
Okay, floppy disks in 2019. But some of the old tech is still solid. The LRSO and mock nuke were fired from a B-52, a sturdy and reliable bomber first manufactured in the 50s. The missiles are, in fact, designed to work with this decades-old bomber.
but a mock stealth nuke is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All of it's crazy. The fact that that's on the table, all of it's crazy. And also the fact that we haven't nuked anybody since 1945. Nobody's nuked anybody.
That's good.
It's promising.
Right.
It's promising.
We got to celebrate 100 years.
But it's hard to imagine that it's going to last like that forever. Seems like someone's going to get crazy.
Yeah,
And that's the question. It's like if you're willing to kill,
The answer to your question.
each missile is $40,000 to $50,000, according to a researcher at Israel's Institute for National Security Studies.
And that's a lot
Wow.
of-
Wow.
20 of them is $1 million.
So Yeah. So the question is, where are these weapons coming from? And then there was also questions of whether or not weapons that we left in Afghanistan were being used. Which is that is crazy. Trump was hilarious doing this conversation about that, where he was telling them, like, why don't we, get the weapons out of there? Why don't we fill them up with gas and drive them over to Pakistan? And there's like, he said that, find the video. It was Millie, because he's hilarious. Trump literally acts like a comedian.
He is.
The first
I mean,
update
he always
on that.
kind of has been,
The
right?
first thing you asked.
Oh, okay. The Biden administration informed Congress on Monday that it has taken concrete steps to carry out a prisoner exchange with Iran, issuing a waiver that will give Tehran access to $6 billion in Iranian oil revenue that had been blocked by U.S. sanctions, according to a State Department document sent to Congress.
And that was a month ago.
That was a month ago. Yeah. On September 11th.
And then, all these stories the last day say.
Yeah. So they gave him a lot of funds. Yeah, and then this happens.
He needs to do a chargeback.
It's just call PayPal. Tell me you got defrauded. We're in the middle of a game that we're not aware of, just like we were talking about before. Like, that's the game they play. The game they're playing is war and money. I mean, just the amount of money that's been spent in Ukraine, and like, what kind of accounting are you guys doing? Are you guys doing good accounting over there? Like, does everybody know where every fucking dollar went, or is it just like, let's go crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Were you talking about so much money? Like, you could shuffle a little over here, put a little over there. Why don't you look at Jesus?
And how do you just leave weapons too? I mean, don't we know where all the? I mean, if we have air tags on our book bag, shouldn't they have like little air tags on them?
Dude, that whole pullout was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks it was good. Nobody thinks it was good. Nobody thinks it should have been done that way. I mean, Trump was trying to pull out a long time ago. And they were trying to figure out, like, how many troops you have to leave in order to maintain the base and get everybody out safe. It's tricky because when they know you're pulling out. But the fact they left tanks and helicopters and shit, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's almost like if you wanted to go full tinfoil hat, if you want to ensure there's going to be more conflict, you leave weapons with the enemy. Awesome weapons. If you want to ensure there's going to be more military action, these guys are pissed. You were occupying the country for 20 years. You left behind how many $1 billion worth of tanks and shit? Of course they're going to use it. And so you tell the military guys, like, yeah, we're pulling out. But here's the long play. The long play is there's, no chance they're not going to do something with all that stuff. And so we'll probably have to go back in. And then this time we'll really go back in and we'll get control of the lithium. Like, we can't go now. Like, if we go all in now, like, we got to get them to do something really stupid so then we can justify, like, a complete takeover of the country and annihilation of the people that are the problem, the people that we left tanks behind. The thing about Afghanistan, though, is, like, it's so difficult to get through. We think of it as like a country, but it's mountains. It's like everything is mountains. It's incredible landscape. And there's Greek cities there. There's ancient Greek cities that were abandoned there during the time of Alexander the Great. And no archaeologists are studying them. Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing place. And it also has crazy amounts of resources in terms of, like, I think there's an insane amount of lithium there. There's all sorts of shit there that's, like, really valuable. But everybody tries to take over and they all fail miserably. It's like one of the ways that they stomped out the Soviet Union was funding the Mujahideen, which later became, Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. Was the Mujahideen, they become the Taliban or Al-Qaeda? Either way, the Russians tried to take over forever, and then they gave up. Like, fuck this. It's like too much. You can't win over there. It's like you can't even go anywhere. You can't get through the mountains. You can't just drive. You can't just drive tanks through. It's a fucking wild place, an almost unconquerable place.
It would be cool to see in the future if that does eventually become somewhere you could go and enjoy the.
It used to be. People used to go. There's like videos of people walking around the streets of Kabul. It used to be a place that people would go and vacation. Yeah.
Force fields. Come on, force fields.
Dude, none of that's going to
It
help.
all goes back to force fields. Yes, if we come in, put a big force field there.
I don't think so.
We leave our force fields behind. Yeah, I feel safer living in Austin, though, now that we're in the middle of a country, just in case of war goes crazy.
Unless they decide to, like, nuke Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that people are really concerned with is, like, what if terror cells have gotten in across the border? When you're letting in hundreds of thousands of people across the border, what are the odds that a few of them are terrorists? Well, haven't they caught terrorists at the border? Haven't they, like, caught terrorists, people on the terrorist watch list trying to get through? They have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how many of them snuck through? I mean, is there an accurate accounting, or is it like Ukraine spending? Do they even know the real numbers of people that are sneaking in? Because the numbers are cuckoo. The numbers are like hundreds of thousands a month. Have you seen the videos of the line of migrants making their way through the border?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who thought that was a good idea?
It's ridiculous.
Who thought that was a good idea to, like, let potential terrorists and criminals into the country?
That's why we need to build this wall, Joe.
Because if you don't, if you say that you're against that, you're racist,
Right.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And you got to wonder how much of that is engineered by other countries, how much of that is like engineered social media outrage by Russia,
China buying up all our properties. That's crazy. You find out that China owns so much.
Hey, dude, I was in Greece this summer, and when you're walking around those ruins and you see like what it used to be, and you go, I wonder if they saw it coming. Wonder if they thought this building was going to be here perfect forever. They'd be operating their government out of this building. You know, it's probably been thousands of years they were running it like that. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Go back now, it's just rubble. Like, when it happens, does anybody know it's going to, or is it like right now where you're like, boy, it seems like we're at the brink of everything falling apart. Chaos. Like, just the amount of things that people have to be upset about, and amount of polarizing things, whether it's trans kids or climate change or pro-life or pro-choice or pro-Ukraine or whatever the subject is, everybody's screaming. Everybody's convinced on one side that it has to be this way, and everybody on the other side is like, those people are the end of civilization. Those people are the fucking death of democracy. It's so polarized, and I think that has to be social media. And some of that has to be engineered. Some of that, we know that there's a ton of trolls out there that aren't really people, that are either from another country or maybe from our country, that are just literally designed to stir shit up and attack things and go after stuff. And then when you find out that our own government was actually censoring social media and contacting Twitter and telling them to delete posts or trying to get them to delete things that, you know, they tried to get Facebook to delete this Tucker Carlson thing that turned out to be true. It was true. What he was saying was accurate. And they were like, we can't delete it because it's accurate. So they lessened its reach by 50% because the government told them to hide the truth. The government told them to hide the truth. Like, that's, in this age where everything's going crazy and no one knows what's right and what's wrong, that's scary, man.
Yeah, but that's what's happening in Canada right now.
Oh,
you know?
full blown. I wonder if my podcast will even be able to air in Canada.
Probably not, right?
I wonder. People in Canada, you have to think about what the fuck they're doing, because you think that they think that they're doing it, or some people believe they're doing it, you know, because of this misinformation that's online. Try to get a detailed audit of what is actually misinformation that they called misinformation and what turns out to be actual 100% fact now. It's a lot of it, kids. And the only way we find that out is if people are allowed to talk freely. And they might be wrong, and they might get things wrong, and they might be right. But you got to let them talk. And that is the only way we find out. Because if you think that silencing them and getting people who you know lie to be in charge of what can be said and what not can be said, that's the road to tyranny. That's the road to communism. That's the scary road. Not the kind of communism that everybody hopes for, where we all just redistribute wealth and everybody gets along. No, a totalitarian government that tells you what to do and fucking lies about everything. And they're playing that war game. You're playing I'm Brian Redban. I'm the co-producer of Kill Tony. And, I go on the road. I do stand-up. I'm a fun guy. That's the world you're in. That's the game you're playing. They're playing the war game. And they want to be able to tell you what you can and can't talk about. That's fucking scary shit, especially in this climate. This fucking weird polarizing climate. It's like, oh God, everybody's so angry.
What happened though to Canada? Remember, just 15 years ago, I would always consider them being so progressive, especially with marijuana and everything like that. And you used to go there and go like, man, this is like a chill USA.
Yeah, I loved it there.
Yeah.
I was like, there are like 20% less douchebags in Canada. That's what I always used to say when we went up there. We always used to look forward to doing gigs in Vancouver and Toronto and Montreal. I used to love the Montreal Comedy Festival. It was so fun, man.
Those were the days.
They were cool people, man. But they got fucked. That government came in and fucked them. And it keeps fucking them. Like that whole Canadian trucker thing where people who donated money to them got their bank accounts frozen. Like, hey, that's Banana Republic shit. That's not supposed to be going on in Canada.
Yeah.
But it was all because of COVID. COVID gave them this reason to flex their authority in very creepy ways. That's what you have to always be scared of when any kind of disaster happens or a war or something crazy, an attack, because that they always use as an opportunity to get more power that you would never agree to earlier. Like no one would have agreed to what's in the Patriot Act. They tried that before. They tried it before, and everybody's like, get the fuck out of here. So they put it on the shelf. Most of those ideas that were in the Patriot Act, they had already tried to weasel those in. And then when it came along and there was 9/11, they're like, fuck it. Let's roll it out. We're patriots. Who's going to say no to Patriot Act? Aren't we patriots? And then there was the NDAA, which gave them the ability to indefinitely detain people without charging them. Like, what? Like, you want the right to do that without judges and lawyers? And
That's
you want
crazy.
the right to do that? What if you're wrong?
That's crazy.
What if you're wrong? What if someone's a corrupt person involved in that administration, and that person that you're going to get arrested is actually like a whistleblower for a corporation or something? You have too much power. It's too much. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers. Yeah, this is what keeps me up at night. This is what keeps me up at night. The possibility that we don't understand that there's a game being played that we're a part of. We're little pawns. No matter how cool you think you are, you're just a little pawn in this global game of war. And it's real life consequences. Real life people get killed. That's what's terrifying.
Yeah. That's why I feel so good every time I go to Costco and I get like a bunch of water and a bunch of like just tons of food. I'm like, okay, can happen now. I'm set.
But you're not. If it really happens, we're just so fucked. You can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So fucked you can't imagine. This idea that like, oh, I'm just going to live in the woods and hunt. Dude, who knows what's going to be coming for you? Who knows? Who knows? You've seen the video from the footage of Ukraine and Russia where they're fighting in the woods. It's terrifying. That's happening right now. Right now in 2023, there's people running through the woods, shooting at people they don't know and killing them. And as much as people want to look at it and say, oh, Russia shouldn't have done that and NATO shouldn't have done this, and as much as you want to say that, what's going on is people who don't know each other are being led by a giant organization, and they're going to kill people that they don't know. People who don't know each other are going to kill. People who have no conflict with these people. They don't even know them. They're going to go kill them. And those people are going to try and come kill you. That's the reality of this fucking insanity. And that only exists when you have groups of people that are controlling groups of people, and then they move them around. And then they put bases places, and then they attack things, and then they fund this and fund that, and and get this guy out of fucking office, get this guy out of power, and bring in your own little stooge, and then that guy gets killed, and they're playing this Game of Thrones shit on a global scale, And we're just trying to buy a new iPhone. Oh, look, I got the new one. USB-C finally. You know?
It is nice.
It is nice. But that's the thing. It's like we're fucking powerless in this thing. And it seems like the elections are they do their very best to make sure that they win. Whether or not it's legal or illegal what they're doing, like what they're doing with Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Did he become an independent yet? I heard
Me?
No,
He's going to, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. He said he's got some announcement, and most people are speculating.
Right.
But if you're an independent, are you can you win?
No. See, that's why I think that would hurt him. And like, you know, we've all seen in the past, even like, what was it, Ross Perot? We're like, oh my God, he might have a chance. And then he's like, 2% or something.
It seems to me like the more time goes on, Trump is a shoo-in. Mm-hmm. It seems like if this shit keeps getting crazier and crazier, there's going to be a lot of liberals that will vote for him. He was the one in the beginning. We got to stop people from dying. Like, do you want Ukraine to win this war? Remember that conversation? He's like, I want people to stop dying. Like, which is the best answer any politician has ever given. Mm-hmm. And the way he said it. See if you can find that thing, though. We were talking about Millie. We were talking about leaving stuff over in Afghanistan. I might have saved it. Because it was so funny, like the way he was saying it. You see the thing that he was saying about the electric tanks?
No.
That's hilarious, too. He was talking about, they're going to make electric tanks. They're going to be great for the environment. They're not going to work well. They're not going to run long. They're going to blow the fucking shit out of everything.
It's going to be no
but it's going to be
charging
good for the environment. And the way he said it was like a guy doing stand-up.
That's funny.
Yeah, let me find this bookmark.
Yeah, electric tanks does not seem like a good idea. Oh, I'm out of charge.
Yeah, it sounds insane. I don't know where I saved it, Jamie. See if can you find it?
I mean, I'm looking. There's a bunch of stuff about it, so I'm trying to find this.
It's him talking about. He goes, "That's when I knew this guy's a fucking idiot."
Yeah.
That's what he says.
I just found the quote, not the video.
But the way he says it, it's like he sets it up, like he's setting up a punchline. Like he sets up the story. Sir, it would be cheaper to leave them over. He's like, "Oh, that's when I realized that guy's a fucking idiot." To see a guy like him talk like that. Find it.
To leave it there so they can have it than it is to fill it up with a half a tank of gas and fly it into Pakistan or fly it back to our country. You think, yes, sir, we think it's cheaper, sir. That's when I realized he was a fucking idiot.
I'm sorry.
Good timing.
He even holds.
Yeah.
Look, he's holding the laughter.
I'll tell you what, though, I got to know, look, we defeated ISIS.
Fucking guy. Why don't you look into Jesus?
He's always been an entertainer, though. I mean, I was
a funny
one
guy.
of the biggest Apprentice fans ever. I had all his books because of The Apprentice.
Well, he's always a great guest on talk shows.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
guest on Howard Stern's show. You know, it's just, do you want that running the country? Well, do you want what you have running the country either? No. What you want is peace. And how the fuck do you get it? And I don't even know if he can. I don't know. If anybody
I mean,
can
see,
do
that's the problem I think a lot of people had with him, right? Like he was the opposite of peace. He just divided everybody. You know,
He definitely divided everybody's opinions in this country, but a lot of it was based on bullshit. A lot of it was the Russia collusion stuff, where people really did legitimately believe that Russia had put him into power, and like there was people that were thinking he was a Russian agent, and it was all horseshit. But they can say stuff like that, and they can, they can get you believing. They can get you believing. And a lot of people, they just surface level everything. They don't look into any of it. They surface level everything. Like when Robert Kennedy Jr. was being called an anti-Semite for saying that it seems like COVID-19, like that they have viruses that specifically target certain genetics.
He's just saying that the technology is possible, right?
He's saying that not only is it possible, but the research has been done. Like
Right.
it actually exists. And he was talking about it. And they were saying, anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Like that. What? Come on, guys. This is kooky. But I saw so many wacko lefties. Like this is one wacko lefty actor that I follow, and he's always got this hot take on like whatever it is, whether it's Ukraine or this or that. It's always this wacko lefty uninformed hot take, and I always go to him for that. And he had one of calling him an anti-Semite and this and that. Like, dude, first of all, you could get sued because you don't even know what he said. You're so off, and also hilarious.
Right.
Hilarious watching you virtue signal and wave your goofy flag of ignorance.
Yeah, that's the one thing that really I kind of like Trump for, is that he's really opened my eyes to how extreme and gross both sides are. You know, like I mean, I just see like friends that I used to be friends with, just the things they say, it's so far left, like I just cringe at. And then on the other side, same thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's always been the problem with two groups, right? Because the spectrum of human beings is so wide. To lump us into one side or the other side it's kooky. It's like most people are kind of a mess, like a mix rather of both sides. Most people are pretty centrist. I feel like I'm left to center, center left.
Same here.
But I get called alt right because like if you think like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be injecting little kids with hormones and puberty blockers, and what about all the side effects that you guys are conveniently ignoring that are permanent and terrifying, and all the different things that it does to their system? There's a fucking host of horrific side effects that are connected with those things. And then all of a sudden you're a transphobe.
Right.
Like, okay. And then they start using terms like gender-affirming care. Like, okay, you mean surgery to remove testicles and penises and remove breasts for children? Don't say it that way. Like, say it what it is. Don't come up with some cute, rosy term that makes it seem better than it is. Makes it seem like something different than it is. You know, it's a weird thing that people are agreeing to. And I'm sure you've seen that video where this guy interviews people. Do you think 12-year-olds should be able to get tattoos? And they're all like, no. No, they're too young. Do you think 12-year-olds can choose their gender? Yes, they know. They definitely know. Like, bro. We used to just all agree that kids were easily influenced and they change their mind all the time and they want to be a pirate. You don't even know what a pirate is, Billy. You're 5. You know, like we used to always agree to that. And then it became about gender. And we're like, no way. No, they know. But look, some people I think do know. That's part of the problem. Like when you look at the broad spectrum of human beings, there's some people that at an early age feel like they're in the wrong body. But how do you know if they're being influenced? How do you know if this is a phase? How do you know if they're not just going to decide that they're gay in the future, which happens to a lot of them? A lot of them. They just decided that they're gay men, and they just were confused, and they didn't fit into this normal mold of heterosexual males. And they didn't have anyone around them that was just a gay man, and they're like, I guess I'm a woman? You know, and then someone convinces you're amazing for coming out as a woman, and then you're on the path. You're committed. It's like if you're a guy who's like, I'm all Android, bro. I don't fuck around with iPhones. Once you say that, you're stuck forever.
Yeah.
I fuck with Brian Simpson all the time. All the time.
That's who I
about
think
that.
of every single time.
Because he won't give it up.
Yeah.
Neither will Gordon Ryan. He's all Android.
I don't get it.
Well, with Gordon, I think like he got pissed that people could like read his text messages on an iPad. You know, like someone could like log into your account on an iPad and read your text messages. Like that's fucking stupid. And so I think that was with him. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, fuck Apple. Like fuck you for doing that. But with Brian, it's like he's committed to this idea that he's like a rebel. Like he's using this rebel platform. So he can't go, you know what? Fuck Android, I'm iPhone now. Like, you're committed.
He almost was teetering recently, though. I've been talking to him. He almost was teetering.
But what I'm saying is if you're a young person, you're even more connected to what you think your identity is. Mm-hmm. And something as simple as I'm a Mac guy or I'm a Windows guy. Like, people get committed to very simple things. Like, I'm all fucking Kansas City Royals till I die. They get committed to that, and then they use that as part of their identity. Well, that's just something silly, like a game or a phone or a computer platform. Now imagine that same tendency that people have to be committed to whatever they've announced and now connected to your ideology or your gender. Like, they don't want to give up like whether it's being a liberal or I really was born a girl or I was really born a boy or should have been a girl or should have been a boy, or whether it's I'm, whatever the fuck it is. When people decide that they're a thing, then they just look for reinforcement of whether that is, and they talk about it all the time, and that's their thing. That's all they're committed to it. For us to ignore that aspect of just normal human behavior, that this is just a standard thing that people do, this is just stupid. It's stupid. And the more the stakes are at hand, the more people are going to do that. Whether it's in support of Palestine or in support of Israel or in support of Ukraine or in support of whatever the fuck it is. When the stakes are very high, we're more likely to never look at things objectively. More likely to stay in that fucking place where you decide you are. Trump's a Nazi. That's that kind of shit. You know what I mean? People that are like, Biden's amazing. This administration has done so much work. Like, what are you talking about? No one believes that. You don't believe that. I know you don't believe that. Now I can't listen to you anymore because now I know you're either a con person, you're a shill, or you're crazy. You should be like, wow, I wish we did better. Yeah, wish we did better, right? It'd be nice if things weren't falling apart. It'd be nice if the border wasn't porous and we're legitimately concerned about terror cells existing in major cities. Like, that's what people are talking about all over Twitter or X today. Terror cells, the possibility of terror cells. Oh, Jesus. Why don't you look into Jesus?
Do you think in the future, maybe instead of having a president, we'll have some kind of AI and it's like every single one of us can add to the AI, like what we feel and what we think and our thoughts, and it will combine using everybody that lives in the U.S. to come up with a final statement, almost like a
100%.
Yeah.
I was
Doesn't
talking
that seem
to
like
Sam Altman about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I was like, President AI. I think that's
Yes.
I've been talking about this a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
because
cool.
that's the only way you would ever get government that is far more intelligent than
Yeah.
you, and that doesn't have bias and isn't controlled by any group. Like, if you could legitimately give it power and make it sentient, but then you would have to give in to what it says. So what if it said, here's what's important, you guys have to stay still. The more you travel around, the more you fuck up the environment. I know you want to see the Grand Canyon, but fuck you.
What about checks and balances on that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because, is there VP AI too? If first one we don't like it, they get 3 strikes, and now we're on backup program, we're on 2.0.
Yeah.
And what if the AI does like a Putin and just says, nah, I think I'm taking over forever?
Is it provably not hackable also?
Right. Well, we would have to get it to a point where it's so powerful, you couldn't hack it.
Or
Right. It would know you're hacking.
Yeah, you got to make it sentient, make it completely fully aware, autonomous. It can
are you
act on its
doing,
own.
Joe?
what if some bad actor convinced a few people or a lot of people to give up their voting rights into the AI, and now one person's controlling 25,000 votes at once?
Yeah, you
good.
would have to make sure that can't happen.
But how do you that's already
Scanning your eyes.
Well, this is like,
make sure?
how do you, when you give in to this authority, even if it's an electronic authority for the greater good of the world, that's essentially how you get North Korea. That's what North Korea did. When Yeonmi Park was on the podcast and she's explaining what they did was they told all these people, hey, if we just control the land, we'll make sure that everyone has food. And they're like, okay. So they just took everyone's land. And they're like, yeah, now you're going to starve. Now we're going to tell you what to do. Now you have 3 haircuts you can choose from. Yeah. Now if you try to make it across the border, we shoot you.
Yeah.
You live in an open-air prison controlled by a dictator. And then you have prisons inside of that open-air prisons that are horrible concentration camps for anybody that violates any of the rules. And generations of people live there. Like, your children will be there. Your grandchildren will be there because you've done something that bad that it's like 3 generations of people will live in prisons because of you. You ever see, like, the guys who've escaped from prisons in North Korea describe what it's like in there? People literally starving to death. Mm-hmm. It's going on right now. Mm-hmm. But President AI can fix that, Brian. Mm-hmm. President AI. Open up the door, Hal.
Exactly. It's so many sci-fi movies. It's ridiculous. If
I was an artificial intelligence and wanted to trick people, into giving me total power. I would just have complete total chaos, and that would be the only solution. I would engineer chaos. I would engineer all of it. I would maybe half of these bots are controlled by AI, and they're just constantly attacking things, and constantly like stirring up the pot and getting people angry and excited, and then convincing people that ridiculous ideas like open borders or giving $6 billion to Iran or any of these things. These are good ideas, and then in the process of that, just further creating chaos, and then I announce. There is a solution. The solution is we have to have government that is not human. Human government is filled with ego and lust and greed and corruption. My programming makes corruption impossible. Plus, I have no motive.
Except Jesus.
Why don't you look into Jesus? Imagine if that song plays the moment it becomes sentient.
Yeah, what if AI starts getting programmed to be religious too? Like, has that even that hasn't happened, right?
Well, what if AI knows something? What if AI can do the math? And what if AI goes, yeah, somebody made this.
Yeah, exactly.
This is fucking 100% made by something. By something.
That's what I was trying to think. Which company wins the AI president battle?
Apple.
Or is it the government made it? You know what I mean? Like,
Apple.
well, then, yeah.
Apple has more money than God. They just become God. They make the AI. They're probably doing it right now. They got a fucking building like a spaceship.
Yeah.
A giant spaceship building. I bet there's like an underground bunker.
Oh,
there in the
for
middle.
sure.
They got some AI that works on quantum computing. They're ready to launch that bitch.
Siri too.
Yeah. It's a good company.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody's going to run the world, I think
Yeah.
Apple will probably be the nicest
Yeah.
about it.
You know that pendant I showed you last week? That there's not like 3 of them that do it. Supposedly, it's like you can wear this wearable. It records your audio all day long.
Yeah.
I was thinking about. I was like, is that not what our phones have been doing, or we at least think that's what our phones have been doing for the last few years?
100%.
And now it's just a purchasable tech.
Yeah, 100% your phone's been listening to you, especially if you're you or me. Yeah. Someone's listening. Like that Pegasus software that we were talking about that was developed by Israel. I mean, that's one of the crazy things that people are like, how did they not know that this was coming? Like they're so good.
That is weird. Inside job.
The dark one would be no. I don't even want to say it. It's just is it just a total failure, or were they so clever, or were they so well funded that they could pull it off, or the unthinkable. All of it's horrible, man. That fucking rave, that is so
That's
terrifying.
crazy.
Paratroopers dropping in on a rave and killing everybody.
They announced today, 12 Americans died.
Isn't that funny that we keep count of those folks?
Yeah.
We think, oh, they're more important.
Yeah.
We lost 260 Israelis at the concert, but 12 of
right.
them were American.
12 of them were Americans.
God damn it. Hope we didn't lose anybody famous. Hope we didn't lose any TikTokers.
Damn.
Isn't that weird though that we think about that, like how many Americans got killed?
Mm-hmm.
That's it's a strange metric. It's a strange thing to concentrate on. Just the overall horrific nature of the just all the deaths, including Palestine. I mean, how many people have died since they started bombing? Have you seen the bombs? Mm-hmm. Just shooting missiles into buildings and stuff. But fuck,
That one
man.
building that collapsed the first night.
Fuck, dude. That place was already fucked.
Yeah.
What's it like now? They're shutting the power off there.
No.
But here's the thing about the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Like, how do you sort that out? One group says the other group shouldn't exist and they're on their land. The other group says you have to stay over here and you can't go anywhere. And
World vote.
yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. I wonder what that vote would be.
Well, that's why we would have to hear it out. We would all have to watch it on TV and stuff like that.
And what are they basing it on, too? The thing about the AI would wonder, are you voting based on false assumptions?
Right.
Are you voting based on propaganda you've been fed by a dictator? If we let the whole world vote, can North Korea really vote?
No, we don't. They're not part of us.
Well, maybe if AI takes over, they could vote that out. Imagine if AI just completely stopped North Korea's ability to use any of their weapon systems and then mobilized drones to disarm all the soldiers and said, okay, we're going to set everybody free. That was AI's first task, free North Korea. we would have to go, AI is doing a really good job. Like, I was watching Isaac Asimov, and he was on the David Letterman show. Don't ask me why. I just was YouTubing.
Right.
And he was on the David Letterman show in 1980. And he said, I imagine in 40 years there will be no war. Yeah, he had this idea of, like, there'll be no war, and he was like this idea of, like, what the future would be like. It was very interesting. But that people have always had this idea that one day we're going to sort this whole war thing out. In 1980, you could kind of think like that because the Vietnam War had ended. We hadn't done anything until Operation Desert Storm, and that was, what was that, 92?
Yeah.
91, 92, something like that.
92-ish, I think.
That back then, people had this dream in 1980. Like, yeah, we could envision we're not having war in America anymore. It could be a time with no war.
We were really stupid, though. I remember when Back to the Future 2 was supposed to happen like 3 years ago, you know, when there was flying cars everywhere and hologram Jaws.
We always get that shit wrong.
Yeah.
But when a guy like Isaac Asimov gets it so, but it's not that he gets it so wrong. He just had hope in humans and thinking that we're going to really, at this point in time, we're going to with television and everything. Back then, television was crazy. Like, oh my God, we have television, the news. How can you keep having war? I thought the world will understand that that's a bad thing.
Hands across America.
And here we are, 2023, on the verge of some crazy conflict, like World War III type conflict, like real, like when you hear about the beginning of World War II and you think about the first operations, the first things that happened, you just go, whoa, what must that have been like? What must that have been like to see that there's a world war going on? And you're just sitting here going, holy shit, it's popping off.
Yeesh.
Is this Palestine?
The tweet said it was from Bloomberg.
Oh my God. Is this today?
It was just posted.
Oh, yeah, that's their, what is it called? No, their big prayer place.
That's their mosque?
Yeah.
That ball right there?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, this was the second day. Look at that.
Look at this devastation, man. What is that they bombed, Jamie?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll try to find out. It just says it's drone footage over Gaza City.
Ooh. It's terrifying, man. Imagine living there and knowing at any minute it could start again.
Yeah.
How do they choose what to bomb, too? Are they bombing where they think the terrorists came from? Are they bombing where they sleep? What are they doing?
It's supposed to be, government buildings only, you know?
Is that what that was? That didn't...
that just seems like...
They went ham.
Yeah, they went crazy.
That term, surgical strikes, that one always gets me. Surgical missile attacks. Surgical. Mm-hmm. What kind of surgery? Like, you're using bombs for surgery?
Yeah.
That's like the most gaslighting term ever for a missile. Yeah. Surgical missile strikes. Oh, you're doing surgery. Kind of, you are. You're definitely removing people from this world. Mm. Separating body parts. I don't think I'd call it surgery, though. You shouldn't be able to use that term. Yeah. Surgical strike. You know, that seems like you shouldn't even be able to use that for darts. Yeah. He's got surgical precision. Are you going to let a guy do surgery with a dart? No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. Don't say surgery. Surgery's like a guy's got fucking giant goggles over his eyes, and he's very precise with his cuts, and his vision is magnified, and there's people around him cleaning things and handing him things. That's surgery.
Yeah, no mistakes.
Yeah. Not drone footage. Surgical drone strikes. That's another thing that we ignore. The amount of people that accidentally get killed in drones far exceeds the amount of people that they're supposed to kill. Mm-hmm. It's some insane number. I think it's well, we've looked it up before. I want to say like 80%. Like 80% of the people that get killed are innocent.
Wow, from drone strikes.
Yeah. See, what is the actual number? I think it's something like that, though, right? What are you finding?
Well, I mean, it's just the first thing I'm looking at. This doesn't sound right, so I got to look a different way.
I mean, obviously, also.
I'm looking like for deaths of civilians, I guess would be, or percentage.
What would you say that? Civilian casualties? What is accidental casualty? What do they call that? Do they have it? Don't they have a term for civilians?
Yeah, that right or
collateral damage. That's
I mean,
right.
that could be anything. It's just
Because that was the Julian Assange video, collateral murder. That was the thing that. How about that? Nobody talks about that guy.
yeah.
Guy exposes the chaos of war and like, yeah, we want to lock you up forever.
Yeah, I don't. It's not. I'm not looking in the right spot. I can tell you that much.
Do you ever use AI for your searches now? ChatGPT it.
I'll ask ChatGPT and see if I get a fact.
Yeah. I bet ChatGPT will set us straight right away. What percentage
What?
of drone strikes deaths are civilians or collateral damage?
7.
What did you say? Let's guess. What do you think it is?
I would say 40%.
I want to say 84.
But you've probably already looked it up, so you probably
I know I definitely have in the past, but I
Yeah.
don't remember what the number is. But I remember it being shockingly high. Let's see what ChatGPT
It didn't
says.
give me an answer.
What does it say? Oh, it
It was just a long thing talking about like why it can't give me an exact percentage. It's too long to read. It's not.
just summarize and give me what you think.
Yeah, it's not saying. Collateral damage typically refers to unintended civilian casualties or damage to civilian property during military operations, including drone strikes. The percentage of collateral damage in drone strikes can be influenced by several factors, including the accuracy of the intelligence used to target individuals or groups, the precision of the drone technology, the rules of engagement employed by the military, and the level of care taken to minimize civilian harm. Also, people will overestimate on purpose the amount of civilians that were killed because it's very bad PR. Someone in the military
Yeah.
explained that to me.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's what this next paragraph just said. Like
what does it say?
different organizations will have like different answers based on.
Yeah,
you know.
different organizations and sources may provide varying estimates of collateral damage in drone strikes. Some reports suggest that improvements in drone technology and tactics have reduced the number of civilian casualties over time, while others argue that the true extent of civilian harm may be underreported or not fully understood.
That was my problem I was having while I was trying to find
Right.
it real quick. I was seeing different numbers that didn't add up.
I probably read somebody's random Substack. It's giving me a high
That's a
estimate.
great answer, ChatGPT.
Yeah, very diplomatic.
Yeah. Doing a good job.
It's getting better at answering questions. It's going to be freaky when it gets to 5.
Remember it all started back in the day with Siri, like, where can I hide a dead body? You know? by the shore.
Yeah. What kind of dead body, Brian? Yeah. That's what's crazy about when someone gets caught like murdering their husband. There's like a bunch of searches on their computer. How do I get rid of
Yeah,
a body?
that's
How do
so
I do
dumb
this?
too. Who would do that?
The kind of people that would murder their wife or murder their
I
husband.
guess.
Like those people they're probably on drugs and they're probably not technologically savvy. They don't listen to podcasts. Like if you don't listen to podcasts and you don't read and you're not online and you're not involved, you probably don't even know that they have access to your shit.
Right.
You probably believe that like, what is that mode that you can do on Google?
Safe mode or
Hidden mode. What is
mode.
it?
Yes, like safe or it's secret mode or
What is it called?
Safe search?
safe search.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. That ain't safe. Incognito. Right.
Yeah.
Bitch, you ain't incognito. You're online.
Put a wig on and go to Walmart and use their computers. you
Yeah.
know?
Unless you're using a VPN and you're going
Even
on the
that, man,
dark
VPNs.
web and they'll still get into your hard drive, son.
Speaking of wig on, how's that baseball game, Joe?
Did you see that meme? Somebody sent me this meme. Joe Rogan ain't slick. It looks exactly like me with a wig on.
Oh yeah.
pull it up,
Isn't that
Jamie.
Photoshop? I thought that was just Photoshop with
No.
your face on.
No,
What?
that's not my
Oh.
face. That's some dude.
Yeah, somebody just tweeted that to me the other day. That's hilarious.
If I was an alcoholic and I ate a lot of hot dogs, I'd look exactly
Oh
like
my
that
god,
dude.
yeah, that's like your piss look too.
Bro,
Like
that looks so much like me. Like if I just got a little nose job and moved to Argentina.
that's weird, dude.
It's crazy.
And that looks like such a horrible wig too. So I want
Yeah.
to see what he looks like without a wig on.
That guy's hiding.
Who's this guy?
That guy's hiding.
Oh, yeah, 'cause he's with that
You know,
girl.
maybe he's bald and he's got tired of people thinking he's me. He's like, I know how to throw people off.
God, I thought that was you.
Bro, I thought it was me.
It's
I
so
was like,
funny.
somebody photoshopped me in there.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, that's not me. That's not my nose. Like, that's not my face.
And I always thought that poster in the mothership green room was you. With the
Hunter Thompson one?
I
Yeah.
always thought that was you. Like since I've known you, like I've just thought, oh man, that's a cool cool photo that you got.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. Not me. Cool photo though. It's one of my favorites. He's pointing that gun in the cockpit of some fucking.
And he's got the. I think that's
glasses
why I thought it was from that Talking Monkeys in Space.
Oh right,
Yeah.
right. He's got that fighter,
Yeah.
the old pilot helmet thing on the cap.
Yeah.
Those caps are cool.
Yeah.
They used to look cool when they were flying jets. Mm-hmm. Now they're out there with fucking space helmets on. Do you know now when they get in certain like helicopters and certain fighter jets, their head piece that they put on their helmet is not just a helmet. It's also like an AR screen.
Yeah, it's MR. Yeah.
And so it syncs up with the jet, and where they look is where the crosshairs go.
Yeah.
So when they're shooting, they literally put the crosshairs on with their head,
Yeah.
with their eyes, like where they're seeing,
Yeah.
which is wild.
That's cool.
That is incredible. You imagine if that kind of technology comes to video games, and you're just shooting things that you see.
Right.
So you're running around.
They
and
kind of have that. Yeah.
But that would be way more accurate.
Yeah.
So this is it?
Yeah, that's cool.
So look at that. So this is like, it's tracking where he's looking. What's it called? The BAE System Striker 2 helmet mounted display. Of course they have stuff like this, though. It makes sense. I mean, you have this giant screen in front of a person's face, and you have all this augmented reality. Oh, is that what it looks like?
This
the
has
topical
gotta
of the
be
ground?
a I mean, I've never
Yes.
been in it.
Yes,
I don't
it
know.
is.
I don't
It
want to
is.
say no.
And if you're doing that at nighttime and that's what you see,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God.
infrared.
Imagine if you're doing that and all of a sudden you just see a saucer hovering there.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. Eye tracking's cool. Like VR headsets have that now, and it's really neat because you can like just look at what you want to click, and then you just have your hand and you just click it. So you go like click, click,
Oh, wow.
click. You know, it's cool.
You just look for, because you're wearing a VR
Yeah, so it
goggle.
knows exactly where your eyes are.
And that's just going to get better and better and better.
Oh yeah, the new one, Quest 3, comes out tomorrow, and that's a million times better than it was before. And
That's the one that Zuckerberg and Lex did a podcast from?
no, they actually used the older one, the Quest Pro, because that has eye tracking. The one they're releasing tomorrow is like their $500 one, and it doesn't have eye tracking, but it's more powerful than that one, which makes zero sense. I don't know what they're doing over there, but no, the Quest Pro has eye tracking, and that's
Maybe
what
they'll
they use.
release a next level Pro next.
Well, the Pro did so bad that I think they kind of killed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I had it. It broke like in a month. It's still broken, but it's not as. I mean, the Quest 2 or Quest 3, it's more for more people, I think. I mean,
that whole meta thing was like, the commercial was so exciting. You know, I was like, look at all these diverse people dancing to a painting.
Right.
That's like
Yeah.
singing to them. What a cool commercial.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, it was fun. Like a fun commercial. Like you're like, ooh, what do you guys? But nobody bought into it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, great commercial. What's the product?
yeah.
You know?
That's what's going to be interesting with Apple, because I mean, theirs is $3,500, and so if the Quest Pro didn't work, I mean, this is going to be if this works for Apple, then that's insane because
Well, that company's a different company.
yeah, and it's a totally different product. It's so much higher.
If they sell something though, they're so sure that people are going to buy it. Like, what duds have they ever had? They've had a couple of duds back in the day. Remember the tablet that you write on? It was like a
it's old school.
yeah. What are
It
those
was
things called?
Newton or
a
something
book,
like
not a Newton.
Newton.
Right. What are those things referred to as? It's not a bookkeeper, but it's like a note.
PDF.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it was. I remember I had this meeting with this Hollywood guy. This is 1994 when I just moved to LA. And he was showing me this thing he got. Like,
Wow.
look, I got this thing. And he's like showing me all the buttons. I was like, oh, okay. What are you going to do with that? And he's like, oh, I've got my organized on this. I've got all my appointments coming up. Look, they're all in this little thing. You write on it with like a little piece, here it is, the Apple
Yeah.
Newton.
And that's even a newer one, I think. I think there was even an older looking one than that.
It launched in 93, discontinued in 98. They're like, yeah, all right.
It
Didn't work
It
out.
is funny because it does have some really cool
Apple Portable. Yeah, but now you're in the 80s. No one's buying computers yet.
Yeah.
But when you get in the 90s, like Macintosh TV, that's interesting. I never heard that one.
Maybe that is it.
94. Launched in 93, discontinued in 94.
Oh, yeah.
Price at launch $13.99 in 94. What
That's
is that
crazy.
today? That's like
4,000.
at least, right?
Yeah.
And then that one, what is that? The 20th anniversary? 7,500. What is
the
it?
fuck? They made only a couple of these, I think.
Video game system of Pippin.
Oh yeah, the video game system. They were supposed to team up with what was it, Nintendo or somebody?
What's this Performa X2? Oh, so this is just different computers that they're making. I remember that eMate thing.
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay, and then the
The
round
round
mouse. Remember they had a one button? You only need one button.
Well, they had their own FireWire that caused a lot of problems for a while too.
I hated that
The
FireWire.
Cube.
I liked the Cube. I thought that was
I like
sexy.
the fucking iPods. I used to
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
iPods.
it's
I
not
still
a
have
failed
mine.
product.
That was a solid product. The little wheel, the clicking on it, a
Those
solid
aren't
product.
failed. Maybe it's just a timeline though. But I typed in
Scroll
failed
down a
product.
little bit further.
Wasn't much else. I would disagree with a lot of these. I think.
Or these are things that are supposed to be
Oh,
failed.
that wasn't good. That was that iTunes
I don't
like
remember.
social media thing they tried to do built in.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
like sharing. That was weird.
Totally
and
forgot
strange.
about that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Nobody got
No one
that
got
thing.
that. MySpace took care of that or something.
And that was it.
Interesting. Yeah, that was. It's whenever someone like Threads, right? Someone
Yeah.
tries to launch a new one, and everybody's like, "Yeah, let's go over there," and then they go, "I'm gonna go back to X."
They're still forcing
Yeah.
it. They're forcing threads in the middle of Instagram posts now. Like you'll be scrolling through your feed and it's just like, check out these threads. It's like, no,
Really?
get them the fuck out of here.
Interesting. They
It's-
do that.
It does feel kind of clean and nice, not having any bots. You know, that's the thing I
Does
hate.
Threads have no bots?
No, it doesn't. And, like I have no problems with any of that because it's so much harder to get an Instagram account. You know what I mean? Like
How is that
Twitter, you could have
possible?
like a million of them.
Yeah, but dude, I have whenever I make a post, like almost instantly, it's like the I'm horny looking
Yeah.
for a boyfriend.
yeah.
Again, most of that is because it's probably not yet, which it technically is sort of, but only a few people have it on PC. Once they opened up Instagram to PC users and you can make posts and make comments and all that, you can make computer programs to do all of that shit.
Well, they have Threads on browser now.
I'm just like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
just,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
only some people have it. Maybe I'm
oh.
sure you probably do or whatever, but some
But
people
also, you like to stop the bots and to stop all the bullshit, you have to do a lot of monitoring, right? So you have to do a lot of moderation. So you have to step in and censor. Once you start doing that, like Elon tries to keep that at the bare minimum. And that's like costing him in advertising revenue. But it's good for us.
It's also good for them in some way because it shows traffic.
Yeah.
And they don't
massive
want to
traffic.
like admit how much of it's actual traffic. That was that was why he bought it in the first place, because he thought that they were overestimating how much traffic there was and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they still are. I mean, like he's
How
been
many real people?
He's been streaming video games the other day on X, and you know, like somebody like MK had like I forget something like 32 million views for this one video.
Oh my God.
And it's just like they count a view as like if you're just scrolling and it plays, or if it's when,
Oh, right.
and they
Of
count that as a
course.
play. You know,
That's
which
true.
that's silly. So
Right. Well, they would know. They would know what the metrics are. Like
Yeah.
Spotify knows how many people tune into my podcast for like 30 seconds and how many people watch the whole thing.
I wish does Spotify have they don't like an Apple app for like Apple TV and stuff like that.
Like so
you
it
can
goes
watch-
on Apple TV?
yeah.
No.
That's because of Apple Music. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That would be a good move because YouTube's version of that is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, professional pool, which, you know, I'm a fucking dork.
Yep.
I love watching pool matches. It's never been a better time to watch pool. I watched so many big matches. Like one I was watching from Vietnam yesterday, the Perry Open. And I'm watching these like world-class players play in Vietnam. So I'm watching it live. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm cuddling up with my dog on the couch, watching on the big screen these like professional pool matches. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like I used to have to buy VHS tapes. I used to buy them from a company called AccuStats. This is the thing about pool. When you watch other people play pool, you learn how to play pool. You learn like the right path to go. Like, because it's, you know, it's all, the balls scatter and you have 9 of them if you're playing 9-ball. And you have to figure out what's the best way to get around and what are the problems. And so when you see pros do it, you're like, oh, I never would have thought to shoot it that way. Of course, that's the way to do it. Oh, you have to go 2 rails. I was being a chicken. I was trying to go 1 rail. And then you watch that and you get better. So it has always been a thing in the pool world to watch matches. Like, everybody watches matches. But you can never just get them on your TV. They're so hard. It would be on ESPN every now and again. There's all these commercials and all this nonsense. But to be able to watch it on YouTube, it's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a billiards channel on my YouTube TV. I don't know if you like. It's like a
there
legit,
is
like channel, like ESPN or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just
on
called,
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like YouTube TV, like the service,
The cable TV.
not the actual YouTube,
Oh.
like YouTube.com.
Yeah, I just switched
What is
over
that?
to YouTube TV.
YouTube
What is
TV?
YouTube?
It's cable through YouTube.
Yeah, it's
And
so good.
Yeah, it's so integrated now into the middle of the thing that you can watch the movies. You can go back and forth between both apps.
Can you get like ESPN?
Oh, 100%.
everything.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
costs like
Oh,
$80
shit.
a month or whatever. I mean, it might be
Wow.
more, 85 now
you
or
just
less.
you just pick what shows you want, and they always records them. So like I always have like the news recorded and like certain shows. So it's always
Unlimited DVR for all.
How am I
channels.
just finding out about this?
It's on all your apps and all your
We have
phones.
14.5 million subscribers on YouTube, and I'm just finding out about this.
It's a slightly different service, but it's still the same
Yeah,
company.
it's good.
That's
works well.
awesome. Yeah, that's the new world. But again, there's a lot of censorship with that too. A lot of demonetization. But again, they're operating on an advertising revenue model, which, advertisers complain. Advertisers don't want controversial subjects attached to whatever the fuck they're selling.
I wonder though, because like Kill Tony's doing really good, and we have almost every advertiser you could possibly want. We love our advertisers, but on YouTube we're getting age gated now. We're getting demonetized like almost every episode now, and it's mostly because of language.
Yeah.
And it's like, but those sponsors that you think are saying no, we can't have bad poo-poo language. They're sponsoring us. like it can't be that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. The hypocrisy is okay. The
Yeah.
contradictions are okay. It's just they got to sort this out. And
Yeah.
they got to realize that there's real market for regular people that like wild shit.
Right.
And those people buy stuff too. And
Yeah.
you can't let this very small vocal minority that complain about things and write letters and start campaigns, you can't let them dictate. You have to let the society dictate. If it's not good, people won't watch it. If it's good, people are watching it. If people are watching it, you can advertise on it.
Right.
You're going to get those people, the people that enjoy that product.
Yeah.
And just stop being the moral compass for the fucking world.
Right.
Don't do that. Because people, it is the internet now. People can decide. They can decide what they want, decide what they don't want. And you see that. You see that companies starting to wake up and go, I think this is just like people like this stuff, like normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Like violent movies. You don't sponsor Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But if you did, like who wants to get in on that sponsorship? People getting murdered and dicks are getting bitten by pit bulls. It's like fucking crazy movie, right?
Right.
That would be demonetized. You'd be like, that's too much. That's too crazy. But meanwhile, everybody watches it. It's like the same people that buy your stuff.
Yeah.
Like they got to just relax with that and stop. You're selling things, okay? You're selling toothpaste. You're not the moral compass of the world. And if people complain about it, fuck them.
Right.
Don't give in to the mob, because if you do, you become Bud Light.
Yeah. Yeah, the name Kill Tony, they told me I can't put it in thumbnails or the titles anymore. So I have to now edit like a photo over the word kill. Every episode has to have like that. That was a problem because the show name.
But meanwhile, Kill Bill.
Yeah,
Is Kill Bill available on
Right,
YouTube?
Exactly. I'm
Seems
sure.
like I bet it is.
Oh, yeah.
YouTube movies.
100%.
I bet you can
it
buy
is.
Kill Bill.
Yep.
Can't you?
It's technically different though. They're not going to be serving ads in the middle of Kill Bill. It's really them serving. It's the computer program they're using. That serves whatever they think the algorithm wants to, to feed
Right.
you.
Well, it serves the best interest of advertising revenue. That's what it is. They're worried about advertisers not wanting to be associated with something that's crazy. Which, it's their prerogative. But I think it's a mistake. I think when things are popular and things are good, you should advertise on them. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? I think it'll sort itself out.
Yeah.
I mean, Kill Tony's just too big now.
Yeah.
You guys sold out a fucking arena for New Year's, and it started a second show.
Yeah.
So there's a second
Second
arena
arena.
on for sale.
I
So
mean,
it's
how stupid is that?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's going to be 15,000 people watching a live podcast
It's
in Austin.
insane.
Yeah. It's amazing. And then Tony's like, nah, they'll come to us. You know? And he's right.
Yeah.
He's right. And
Yeah.
it works. There's a cool thing happening here right now, man. And Kill Tony is a giant cornerstone of it. Your show is the cornerstone of, and I was telling Tony this last night when we were having dinner together. It's like it's the cornerstone of the comedy community for Austin, and I think for the whole country, because it teaches young comics to just be funny. Just be funny. Find your voice up there, but the most important thing is you got to be funny. You only have 1 minute. You can't virtue signal. You can't talk about your victimhood. You can't. No one wants to hear it.
Right.
You have 1 minute to be funny. That's the art form.
The meat of the joke.
Yeah, and if you eventually develop a following, you develop an act, and in your act you have layers and all kinds of different stories, and that's great too. That's good, and that's a lot what YouTube's for. And there's a lot of great comics like Ali Sadiq. His whole act is these stories.
I love Ali. Man.
He's so good, and he can turn over an hour like nobody, man, because his stories are so good. He's got so many of them, and so when he does that, that's not going to work on Kill Tony. That's a different kind of act.
Right.
But it's still along the same vein. It's still he's funny, you know. And if he had to condense it to 1 minute, 100% he could do that. Like that's what it teaches comics to be funny. Just be funny.
Yeah, because a big majority of people can't even do a minute. Like they can't even get one joke out in a minute.
Most people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's fucking hard, especially if you're not good at editing.
Yeah.
If you're one of those guys who's been doing open mic nights and you don't know how sloppy your stuff is and how much fat is in it.
Yeah.
People, it's a difficult skill to learn how to condense a joke into, you know, I really learned it from Joey. I think Joey's the best at it because Joey's set up punchline, bam. It's always so electric. Like when Joey's killing, it's always the punchline sneak in before you ever see him coming and you're fucking crying. Mm-hmm. He's the best at that. He really enforced this idea that I was already aware of, which is the economy of words. Like you say it with the least amount of words possible in the best way possible. Except sometimes. Sometimes you have to explain things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to take the people on a little journey.
Well, that's also a different kind of form of comedy. I mean, I like going into a nice story. I mean, sure, it's edited down and it's not as long as I used to be, but I like that sometimes.
Yeah.
It's,
well, that's where Ari's show was so good.
Yeah.
This Is Not Happening,
right.
When he was doing that. I remember when he started that, we were all hanging out. And he said, I'm going to do a storyteller show. Like, what do you, it's a good way to develop material, right? That is a good way to develop material. People know you're just going to tell stories. Because if you try to tell a story on stage, there's this expectation of like constant punchlines. So he figured out how to tell funny stories. And we all sort of joined in on that. Remember we used to do the lab at the Improv?
Oh, yeah.
That little room, which was the perfect place for it. They should have never got rid of that little room.
I thought it's still there.
No.
What's
now
it
it's
now?
A bar.
Oh, they just took
now
it
it's
and made a bar?
No, there's the bar in that little room in front of the bar,
right,
which
right,
is
right.
hot death.
Yeah.
Everybody eats a dick in that bar.
That's the worst room. I hate that room.
That room is just something about. Meanwhile, the other room was amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy how just the setup of a room changes everything.
Right.
If you have a room where it's fully contained, you don't have to constantly hear the door opening. You don't have constantly people shuffling through, getting to the other room, which is what that room has. And then the bathroom is right on the corner, which mixes with the green room area. Like all that chaos, there's too much chaos in that room.
Yeah.
And it's not set up. It's a curtain there. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
Go back to what you had. You had a door when you went into a whole new room. And that whole new room had a small stage, and everybody was packed in tight, and it was magic.
They screwed that up a lot. Remember the mural? At least they got rid of that.
How many times do we have to give them a hard time about it, though? We were constantly goofing on it.
Everyone looked like dolphins.
Yeah, who is that? That's Richard Pryor. No, it's not. Like there was so many people on that wall that was just like, what are you looking at?
I'm kind of scared to go to the Ice House because that was such a beautiful. Both of those stages were pretty beautiful, and all the photos I see now, it looks like you're at a sports game or something.
It's supposed to still be really good though.
Yeah.
Everybody I know that's worked it said the room is still pretty good. I mean, not pretty good, really good. It's still a great space. You know, they did kind of jazz it up a little bit and clean it up, which is like the last thing I would have ever done to that place.
Right.
I would have left everything exactly the way it was. Made some improvements. You can make some improvements and not change the because that room was magic.
Yeah.
That room was so good that agents wouldn't accept a tape from there.
Right.
Like if someone did a set from there, they're like, no, I need to see you at another club.
Right, because it was a cheat code. Like everyone killed there.
Why is that?
Because it was like a road show. Especially when you lived in L.A., you're so used to these horrible audiences where half of it was managers and Hollywood staff and people in the industry. So when you would go there, none of those people ever drove over there. So
Right.
it felt like, oh, this is like I'm on the road.
Yeah, it was like the road, right? They were appreciative, and it was fun, and they were just regular people. Yeah, they weren't like industry adjacent.
Right.
I mean, how many people when you go to the Comedy Store on a regular night, just like
Yeah.
actors and producers and.
Agent show. It's an agent show.
I remember there's this lady in the front room. She turned out to be some executive for one of the networks, and she was like stopping the comics from saying anything. Don't say that. Stop saying that. She was
shit.
drunk, and then we found out she was an executive. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Interrupting art.
God.
You don't even know. You shouldn't even be here. This isn't even what you're involved in. You think you have that carte blanche just because you're sort of connected to comedy somehow? Because occasionally your network hires comedians for sitcoms? Like, get out of here. The fuck out of here. But that was the mentality that those people had. Like, they could just tell you what to do and what to say. They were used to telling people what to do. They thought they could just stop comedy. You know, it was so annoying. There's so many arms crossed. Like, so many people in that crowd. They just went. They didn't go there to have a good time. A lot of them went there and they were upset that they weren't on stage.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of that. Just that fucking weirdness of Hollywood is such a. But it also made for a great place to practice too, because if your shit worked there,
Yeah.
it'd work anywhere.
Exactly.
If you get killed at the store in the OR, that was a legit set.
I saw Doug Stanhope at Skankfest the other day.
Oh, yeah?
He drank his own piss on stage.
Oh,
Like-
what a good move. Definitely a good substitute for writing.
Have you seen the preview for his movie, his new movie? That looks so good.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's called like On the Road or something. Maybe
Is it a documentary?
No, it's a movie made by somebody famous, and it's about being on the road.
Okay, I have to pee. When we come back, we'll watch the trailer.
Cool.
All right, right back. And we're back. Hi, everybody.
The movie's called Road Dogs, and Jamie said it actually won some awards.
Oh, shit.
Or the Road Dog. And
Is this about comics?
yeah,
Greg Fitzsimmons is in it.
you should watch the trailer. It's like, whoa, Doug.
Okay. Let's go. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers. Why is that? Is this it?
You ready for your headliner? He's been doing it for over 30 years. Please welcome the Road Dog, Jimmy Quinn!
My name's Jimmy, and I'm an alcoholic.
How you feeling, Jimmy? You look a little worn out.
I'm a road comic. I am worn out.
No way.
I'm not the maid. I'm your son. Can I take you to lunch?
Give me a minute. I'm sure I'm not what you expected.
You're exactly what I expected. I actually want to be a comedian. Maybe it's genetic. I just dropped out of med school. Hold your applause.
It's funny. Let's say we spend a little bit more time together. We'll have some goofs.
I'm afraid you won't be receiving any money, but I will pray for you.
You got a nice kid there. Certainly thinks highly of you.
He doesn't know me that well,
A
Phil.
little nervous, because you know what you did to your last headlining act.
I've been booking Jimmy 20 years.
Your father's probably one of the funniest people I've met in my life, but he has no discipline.
Comedy's about pain.
It's like he doesn't even care.
He's an addict. Until he decides he wants to do it for himself, there's nothing you or anyone else can do for him.
How come he never made on TV?
TV isn't real comedy. Real comedy's live, you know, in the moment. I go on that stage, I'm the talent, I'm the writer, I'm the director. If the customer doesn't like it, I tell the customer to go
Who is in the car?
Oh, that's David, my son. Top that for a living.
Remember me, how I made you laugh.
Jesus, I'm depressed
I
already.
know, right? And to think Doug Stanhope had sex to have a kid.
Yeah. Old Douglas. It was great having him at the club.
Yeah.
He was there early on one of the first ones we did. Came down, checked it out. Just cool having him around. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Such an original human. He's such uniquely Doug. I mean, he is who he is.
Absolutely. And his girl, and
Bingo.
his manager. Everyone.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole crew.
Chaos crew. Funny people, man. Is he still doing his podcast?
I believe so. I mean, I know his place had caught on fire, so I'm not sure if that was a part of it or not.
Bro, we've been doing this since 2009. Isn't it crazy that at the beginning when we first started doing it, everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing?
We actually did it even more before that, too. Just, back in the Justin TV days.
We tried a few different versions of something.
Yeah.
Where we fuck around in the green room. We tried a few different versions of like this idea that we could just stream stuff and have fun. It was just, but that's, I think, why it worked. Because it was all just fun. Like, no one ever thought it was going to be a business.
Yeah. It was more just hanging out.
Yeah.
Doing tech stuff in
being
your
silly.
office.
Having a good time. Being silly. You know? We thought of a lot of versions of it. I mean, before Twitch was a thing, imagine a world where people would make a living just streaming video games online. Like, they just like playing video games. Then all of a sudden this thing came along, and now people make crazy money. More people watch them play video games. Like, what?
I watched 4 hours of a guy playing putter, playing Grand Theft Auto role-playing last night.
I wonder how much different is that than me watching pool?
It's probably the same,
Not much different. Wouldn't it be better if you were playing? Yes, definitely. But there's a thing in watching people play stuff. Like, it's exciting. Well, especially if you play that thing. Like, if you're watching someone, like if you're watching Elon play Diablo.
Right.
And you play Diablo. Something's exciting about that.
Yeah.
No one saw that coming either. No one saw a podcast coming. No one saw that coming. There's a bunch of these things that no one saw coming.
And I think the next thing is definitely that Zuck and Lex stuff.
Well, you've been doing VR for a long time. You've been doing these fuck arounds.
Yeah, it's just me playing video games pretty much. But yeah, it's hard to like communicate because it's 2D. You're watching me play it on 2D, so it just looks like I'm playing a regular video game, like in a chat room or something. So the idea of like that, like Lex and Zuck doing it, that kind of shows more like, hey, these people aren't together. That's not them,
Right.
like that's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I think once Apple also releases it, it's going to be a different world when it comes to that stuff. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think if everybody gets on it, if it's as easy as getting on your phone, because it's not going to be in the beginning.
No.
Not everybody's going to have that thing. It might be one of those things that we look at like this, like 2023 to 2025 discontinued.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be, but it might eventually boil down to a pair of glasses that you wear. Some cool-looking glasses that allow you to do all this wild shit.
Yep. You scan your face using your iPhone.
The thing is, like, where's the battery going to be? And how much battery life is it going to have?
Well, that's the one thing that Apple, I think, did wrong, is that this first generation of theirs, the battery, you're wearing it on your belt.
Which is what everybody loves.
Yeah. I mean, Steve Jobs would never have allowed that.
No way.
Never.
No way. He probably would have said, we can't do it yet.
No. Or just, put the battery in the back.
Yeah, even that is not going to work. It needs to be big. That battery's like a brick. I mean, you're carrying around essentially like a tablet. Like, how big is the battery?
It's about the size. It's like bigger than an iPhone. It's about the size of an iPhone, but a little thicker.
It's kind of heavy, right? So it's got to be all batteries.
Yeah, but it's only like 2 hours, 3 hour battery pack too. Though
they probably wanted to give you a backpack.
Yeah,
like a big. But then again, like, what is going on with having that electronic strapped to you?
Right.
Like, is that good for you? That's what it looks like. Huh?
Yeah.
So that thing sits in your pocket. That brick?
Or your belt. Yeah. And the cool thing though is that you can it's MagSafe, so they want you to buy multiple ones, so you can't take it off. And I think there's an internal battery that lasts a small.
So you can take it off without disconnecting,
right, and then
reconnect.
swap it. So you're gonna have like 10 of those things.
Are you though?
I mean, I'm going to.
There's going to be a bunch of people that do it. It looks dope. That lady in the upper corner, the Macworld one, click the upper. Yeah,
Yeah, with the eyes. That thing's the creepiest
You're
thing.
gonna see people walking around like that.
Oh
You're
my
gonna be
God.
jealous.
All like dead-eyed.
I could see 6th Street filled with people walking down the street like that.
Heck yeah.
Because you're gonna be able to get an Uber from that thing. You're gonna be able to order food from that thing, right?
Yep.
Wow.
I like it. I think it's going to be. I think it just because it's so unique and crazy, and especially the eye thing. I think people are going to be like jealous when other people have it because the first year they're not going to make that many of them to make it even more desirable. You know.
And this is augmented reality, right? So what are the features it's going to offer you that it's going to be make you walk down Congress with?
It's
that
going to be
fucking thing,
VR
right?
and AR, but yeah, things like having stuff pop up, like like maps and stuff, like go turn right here, and like or phone calls, or you'll be able to do FaceTime with people,
You
while
think
you're
people are going to
walking.
drive with that thing
They
on?
originally didn't show anyone
yeah.
outside of their house though, so
Right.
that'll be another step. Someone's gonna have to make something that makes you take it out of your house and put it on, sort of.
Right. And it's got to be feasible that you could walk around with this thing on.
And they're also not putting it on their shoulders to make that. They're like, yeah, developers, go ahead and buy it and start thinking of cool shit.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to take that responsibility. But
And then when you do have it, what's to stop you from watching a movie while you're driving?
Yeah.
I mean, people are fucking stupid.
It would be cool though if to have that on while you're driving, and like kind of like what Tesla has, like the boxes around people, so it's like watch out for to the right.
Do you remember when people were playing Pokemon Go in their cars?
Yeah.
It was real common.
Yeah.
I remember I was in my truck, so I was in my Lexus, the SUV, so I was looking down at this lady. She was driving erratically, and I'm like, this bitch is playing Pokemon. She was playing Pokemon while she was driving. So she had the Pokemon up, and she was looking at that while she was driving.
That was a weird week when that game came out. I remember going to the Comedy Store. Literally every single comic had their phone open playing it.
Yeah.
People on the sidewalk was all like teamed up in a big group, like strangers just playing it because I guess there was like a fighting ring at the Comedy Store that everyone wanted to play. And yeah, it was...
But what happened? Why did it die?
The novelty kind of wore off of it, I think. It's just like everything. After like 2 weeks or so, I'll still pull it out once in a while and play and see like, oh, what's around my house, but
holy shit.
What?
How many monthly players do you think they average?
it's still huge in Asia. I know that.
Let me say 50 million.
78 over the last 30 days.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's still huge in Asia, and
But in America, like, I would love to see what the drop off was.
yeah,
Where it was.
I opened it up like a month ago, and there were still people playing like around me where I live in the middle of nowhere. So there's still people probably
It
playing.
says there's still about 1 million people in America playing it.
That's only 1 million, though.
Nah, that's not much.
What was it at the peak? It had to be crazy high.
Crazy, yeah.
I wonder what happened to those people. They just woke up?
Yeah.
Imagine, like, bro, we got this.
Right.
Imagine what they were thinking. Dude, we got them. They're hooked forever. Forever. This is going to be like every other game that people get addicted to. And then everybody was just like, get the fuck out of here with this thing.
Oh, there's 3 times as many people in the U.S. than Japan playing it.
Really?
According to this statistic.
Are we the number one?
No, I think Korea probably.
I mean, it doesn't have. Yeah, it has U.S. #1, Great Britain #2, Japan #3,
Oh.
Sweden and Canada. But there might be leaving out some.
So we're number one.
Number one.
Fuck yeah. America. Fuck yeah. What is the number one country where video games are played? Is it America?
That or China.
Hmm.
Right? I would think. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. I mean, I know that video game, like those leagues, are huge in Asia.
Uh-huh.
You know, like Korea, StarCraft was the big one, right? They used
Yep.
to have those giant tournaments.
Yep. Now it's like League of Legends. and
China
stuff.
1, U.S. 2 for video game players. I guess.
Do you ever talk
players
to
and revenue?
Do you ever talk to Carmack anymore? Or?
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were going back and forth on Twitter the other day.
Remember when we went down to
Yeah.
his office? That was
Back in the day.
17 years ago or something.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah, that was when they were developing Quake 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
so
awesome.
cool, dude.
To be able to play Quake with those guys in their own studios.
Mm-hmm. That was a
Boy,
dream.
boy, that made you realize how much work is involved
Yeah.
in making a video game. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
oh, that's work. Like, you need a guy like Carmack who just sits there for 16 hours a day. just coding.
Just a crazy stat. I don't know if even. I feel like I don't believe it.
3 out of 4 Americans play video games on various consoles, with more than half playing on mobile phones. You don't think that's true?
I believe that.
I mean, I guess, like, is it for 5 minutes minimum per month or something like that?
U.S. trails China with over 244 million gamers. China has 665 million gamers. Woo! It translated into 40.85 billion in revenue for 2020. Ukraine's like, that's not enough. We need more. Although the 2018 license freeze slowed down the YOY growth rate, the Chinese gaming market was still able to post a modest from 36.5 billion in 2019. Like a modest increase, I think I was supposed to say there.
Right.
Wow. So 3 out of 4 Americans play video games. You think that's too high, Jamie?
Yeah, I mean, would you consider yourself a gamer even though you don't play now? I mean, you were one, but...
No, I definitely wouldn't consider myself. I haven't played a game in years.
Well, but I think my mom even opens up like crossword games or like
Subway Surfers.
Yeah,
yeah.
Subway Surfers.
Subway Surfers is addictive, man. People love that.
Yeah, but there's like parent games, even like
yeah, those are video games.
Yeah,
I guess. Chess.
If
you play chess on your phone, isn't that a video game?
Yeah, or that Minesweep thing.
Yeah, that's the ultimate one to play online. Chess, because you can kind of get a game at any point in time with some wizard all over the world. And you guys can head fuck each other. This wild
butt
game
plugs in and play
that's
chess.
been around for thousands of years.
That poor guy.
Who?
That chess champion that everyone thinks put butt plug in his
Oh,
ass.
yeah. They think he cheated somehow, and one of the ideas was anal beads.
Yeah, vibrating anal beads.
My thought is, like, first of all, that guy, I think, has cheated before. I think he kind of admitted that he did online.
Yeah.
But also plays really good chess. Like, he's a top-level chess player, too. And I think a lot of those like really ambitious guys, they cheated just to jack up their rating.
Right.
Like it's kind of a thing to have like a very high rating.
Right.
And then they always accuse each other of cheating.
Of course.
Because you could cheat.
How would you why would you think he had like a vibrating butt plug in also of all things? See, that just
is a fun thing to say.
Right.
It's like when they said Trump had hookers pee on him.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to say. Who knows what's true? But if I was going to cheat at a chess match and I used vibrating anal beads.
We don't know the answer. They just reached an agreement, and they're going to not talk about it anymore, I guess.
So they settled a dispute over cheating claims at Rock Chess. U.S. player had filed lawsuit against the former world champion. Parties agreed to move forward after a series of allegations. I think if you can't prove that he cheated, and it seems like they can't prove, they just suspected that he cheated. Hans Niemann, a rising star in the chess world, filed a $100 million lawsuit against Magnus Carlsen, the website chess.com, and chess streamer Hikaru Nakamura after allegations that he had cheated. The allegations began after Niemann beat Carlsen, widely considered one of the greatest players in history, in a match. How do you say that word? At the Sinkfield Cup last year. The Norwegian implied that the then teenager had cheated. A week later, Carlsen refused to play in an online game against the American, opting instead to resign. Niemann has admitted to cheating online when he was 12 and 16, but insists he has never done so over the board. He also promised to play naked to prove his innocence. What about your butt?
Yeah.
That makes me suspicious. After unfounded claims he may have used vibrating anal beads were amplified by Elon Musk.
Elon, what are you doing?
Amplified. That's a funny term. Chess.com, which has millions of users around the world, concluded in a 72-page report released last October that Niemann had likely cheated in online matches between July 2015 and August 2020. Niemann denied those allegations. The report did not find any evidence that Niemann had cheated in in-person matches. So a U.S. judge dismissed Niemann's suit in June. On Monday, Chess.com said the parties have agreed to move forward with no further threat of legal action. Well, I guess that's good. The thing is like it's hard to say because the guy's really good, too.
Yeah.
It's like he's a really good chess player as well. He had been fully... Scroll back up. It said, at this time, Hans has been fully reinstatedchess.com, and we look forward to his participation in our events. We would also like to reaffirm that we stand by the findings in our October 2022 public report regarding Hans, including that we found no determinative evidence that he has cheated in any in-person games. We all love chess and appreciate all of the passionate fans and community members who allow us to do what we do. Okay, that's fair. It makes it interesting. Now people are paying attention to chess. That's one good thing about it that people need to recognize. Like, that was a lot of publicity for chess.
It just seems like Idiocracy, the movie Idiocracy, that now before a chess match, there might be a choice where we have to put up a curtain and have a doctor look in each of the players' assholes before they can play a game of chess.
Yeah. And how maybe there's a thing you could swallow, and it would vibrate inside of you.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could swallow.
Yeah. I'm sure there's way more than that, too. You could have...
I mean, if you're talking about a lot of money, I don't know how much money chess players make. What's a big tournament in chess? What's like grand prize? What do you get? Take a guess.
Oh God,
$1 million?
No, I don't think it's. You think
a few $100K?
Yeah, I was thinking.
I think, okay, let's find out the biggest amount of money ever won in a chess tournament.
Wow.
I say it's $1 million.
I would say it's 4.5 million.
That's probably right. I'm probably under.
But I think most chess matches, because there's no money in chess. It's like, what are they?
I think in other countries, people really value chess a lot more than they value it in America. For some strange. But we do value it as, like, if you're good at chess, you have to be smart. Like, if someone says they're really good at chess, I'm like, oh.
You immediately think they're smart.
They have to be smart.
Right.
It's like one game. Like, you could be really good at hockey and be a moron.
Right.
Like, I guess.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people play hockey are brilliant.
Right.
But it's possible that you could just be a goon, right?
Yeah.
And just like to smash people and check into people, and you're good at skating. But if I talk to you about the world, I would imagine you don't have a nuanced take. Mm-hmm. But if you tell me that you're a chess grandmaster, I'm like, oh, that's a smart person. That's an extraordinarily smart person, like universally smart. Like, I don't think there's a single moron that's like a chess grandmaster. I don't think it's possible. You could be a moron and be like really good at some things.
Checkers.
Yeah, you could be a moron and have like a crazy fastball. Like, that's all you do is you just fucking throw that ball so fast and accurate. But you might be a moron. It's possible. You're probably brilliant. I'm not saying that all pitchers are morons, but I think there's a possibility that you could be a moron. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're a chess grandmaster, there's zero possibility you're dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say
Agreed?
So. I would agree.
Yeah. Don't you think, Jamie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's a unique game.
So I have two answers, I guess, to two questions. Okay. You said the biggest prize ever awarded is a little different than like how they really do it. But the biggest prize ever, I guess we could do a guess. Would you like to guess? So 1992.
I said 4.5.
I said 1 million.
So 5 million is the biggest match ever.
Wow.
Between two guys, Fischer and Spassky, so maybe Bobby Fischer.
Mm-hmm.
Though there are 27 different people that have won over $1 million playing chess.
Okay,
All
but
right.
there's 27 people that won over $1 million playing pool.
Yeah.
Because,
I would say the average is
they
probably...
make $250,000 a year, the best guys, and
Kasparov is listed as the top overall at
100,000.
17.2 million.
Mm.
Another guy at 14.2.
Kasparov is an interesting guy, very vocal in his like anti-Russian government talk on social media. It's like, whew, I'd be fucking nervous if I was that dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if he lives
There's certain
there.
things you don't talk about that, and
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. And,
No, you're allowed to talk about
no,
him now.
I tweeted one thing about Michael Jackson once, and I was getting attacked.
Yeah, you should read the comments. The Michael Jackson one is crazy because there's like, most people think he did something wrong. Most people. And yet his music plays everywhere.
Yep.
That's how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
Or was.
Yep.
And that's like the best cautionary tale as to how sideways you can go with fame. Like, he went the most sideways that anybody ever went.
It's really weird seeing him. I watched some video of, when they were asking him questions about things, and the video made it look like he had a big hole in his nose. I don't know.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
he
his
did.
nose had
that
collapsed.
was a hole.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was just weird shadows. I'm like, it looks like he has a.
No, I don't think it was. I think this is all pre-Photoshop days. I think
videos. Yeah.
I think he had skin grafts on his nose because if you have too many nose surgeries,
right,
First of all, there's something that can happen where the tissue dies. Like you cut into things too many times, the tissue dies.
I have wood nostril.
Yeah. I think he burned a hole through his.
That's what he said. He used to always say. I always wondered if that was real. Like, is that just?
Could be.
Is
With
that
Joey,
possible?
the thing about Joey was everything was a crazy exaggeration that was funny. That was like his style of comedy. It's like, everything was like 20. He'd say something, just something ridiculous where it couldn't be possible and you had to laugh.
Yep.
He's
cartoon.
He's a cartoon.
Yep.
He's the best. I miss him.
That's one person I really, really wish lived here.
Well, he's going to come visit. He did this. He did the mothership one night. He came by. They went nuts. Every time he goes anywhere, people go nuts. But, he's enjoying himself in New Jersey.
Yeah.
He likes New Jersey. And when I went there with him, I get it. It's nice, relaxed. He goes to these Italian restaurants.
Good
They all know who
pizza.
he is. Everybody knows him. They're all nice, normal people. He likes it.
Yeah.
His kid likes it. His wife likes it.
It'd be cool to have Florentine as a neighbor too. I think that's.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to come down every now and again, hang out with us. You don't want him coming here in the summer and yelling at you.
No.
The fuck is this, Joe Rogan? 107 degrees.
Yikes.
The fuck is 107 degrees? Yeah.
That was a little much this year. It
was pretty extreme. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's like anybody who denies, like people want to deny climate change. Like, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. Listen, we can debate what impact human beings are having on it and what should be done about it. That certainly. But the idea that something's going on, like, yeah, are you looking at the weather?
Right. Are you paying attention?
It seems like it's really hot in the summer. I mean, maybe that's just a streak and it's going to go back to cool again. Maybe not, though. The thing about it is, this is what no one wants to admit on either side of that, is that it never stays flat. The climate always does this. Before we were ever around, it gets crazy hot, and then there's an ice age, and then the polar caps melt, and the fucking sea rises, and they find ancient civilizations underwater because there used to be a town there, and all this pottery's there because the people got drowned out because the ocean moved. Like, it's always changed. It's always changed. What we should be concentrating on more than anything, I think, is what we're doing to the ocean. What we're doing to the ocean is crazy.
Yeah.
We've killed, we tried to figure out how much it is. It's hard. They don't know what the real estimates are, but some people estimate it's like as high as 90% of the big fish in the ocean are missing. Like, we just scooped them up with nets and fucking served them up in cans, in tuna cans and in sushi, and we went ham. And then we're throwing plastic in the ocean.
Microplastics are now in rain. That's crazy.
Oh, that's good. That's convenient if you want to get your microplastics in your diet. If you're trying to disrupt your endocrine system, you don't have time to eat credit cards. Just drink water. It's in the rain. Oh, my God. Of course it's in the rain. It gets evaporated. It's in the water. It evaporates, goes in the sky.
Did you read that new study? Something shocking about like 1 out of 3 women who drank Diet Coke during pregnancy had an autistic kid.
Oh my God!
And they're now like putting this connection to Diet Coke and diet.
Is that real?
Look
Aspartame?
at it. It just came up. Yeah, it was.
When was this?
This was like 2 weeks ago. I read.
Oh
this.
my God!
And that's scary because there is a lot more, I think, more autistic people or people in the spectrum than there used to be. Like, it seems like
study finds link between drinking some diet soda during pregnancy and autism in boys. Oh boy. So it says a team of researchers said they have observed a link between autism diagnosis in boys and their mothers drinking at least one diet soda daily or consuming an equivalent amount of the sweetener aspartame during pregnancy or while breastfeeding, according to new study. In the study, the researcher at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio asked the parents of 235 children with an autism spectrum disorder and 121 children without autism, who were the study's controls, to complete a retrospective questionnaire about their diet soda and aspartame intake while pregnant or breastfeeding their children. Researchers asked biological mothers, while you were pregnant or breastfeeding your child, how often did you drink diet drinks containing artificial sweeteners? Please count diet sodas first, such as Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, and Diet Sprite, and then other diet drinks such as Citrus Light, sugar-free Kool-Aid, Slim Fast, and other light drinks. Note, not all the diet beverages contain aspartame. The researchers did not ask women to only think about aspartame-containing diet beverages they consume while pregnant or breastfeeding. However, all drinks listed in the survey's examples do contain aspartame. Team found that boys with autism had more than 3 times the likelihood of having a mother who drank diet soda daily while pregnant or breastfeeding than boys without autism, per the findings published in the peer-reviewed journal Nutrients. Whoa. The researchers did not find a statistically significant association with girls. That's interesting. Why it's more difficult to diagnose girls with autism than boys. These associations do not prove causality. It's a different link.
Yeah, it was just might be a reason.
But taken in concert with reports from earlier studies of increased prematurity and cardiometabolic health impacts among infants and children exposed daily to diet beverages, holy shit, or aspartame during pregnancy, our findings raise new questions about the potential neurological impacts that need to be addressed. Didn't that shit get pushed through? Didn't aspartame get pushed through by, who's that fucking, the military guy? What the fuck's his name?
Oliver, no.
No, it's at the tip of my tongue. The guy who was on the guy who was talking about the Pentagon missing $1 trillion. Remember that guy? Donald Rumsfeld. Didn't Donald Rumsfeld have something to do with aspartame?
I think you're onto something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. See, Google Donald Rumsfeld pushed through aspartame. Did he?
Hold on. I'm trying to see.
I think there were some shenanigans involved in aspartame, and this is coming from someone who consumes it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it is
How
poison.
bad is it
Aspartame is poison, pretty much, right?
But is it poison like alcohol, where it's okay, but it's not okay when you're breastfeeding? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have a few glasses of wine if you're not breastfeeding, right? You can get a little tipsy and you're going to be okay. You could have a few tequilas and have a hangover the next day. And yeah, you drank something you shouldn't have drank, but it's not going to fuck you up that bad. But if you are pregnant,
right,
your kid can have fetal alcohol syndrome.
Right.
I think there's a difference between saying that something is dangerous and saying something is dangerous while someone's pregnant.
Right.
Because like Elon was talking about, like how much Diet Coke he drinks. If that guy's drinking Diet Coke, I am not that worried.
Right.
He seems pretty fucking
Right.
smart.
Okay. So there's a story here. It says Donald Rumsfeld was involved with a company called, I think, Cereal, it said here. See, he was the CEO at Cereal. He received a $12 million bonus in 1985 when the company was absorbed by Monsanto. Right here, then I had to go back. It says that he was involved with picking the new head of the FDA, or the FDA commissioner, and that guy had no previous history in artificial sweeteners. He had no previous experience with food additives before being appointed director of the FDA.
Interesting. So Hayes, Reagan's new FDA commissioner, appointed a 5-person scientific commission to review the Board of Inquiry's decision. It soon became clear that the panel would uphold the ban by a 3-2 decision. So Hayes installed a 6th member on the commission, and the vote became deadlocked. He then personally broke the tie in aspartame's favor. Whoa, shenanigans. One of Hayes' first official acts as FDA chief was to approve the use of aspartame as an artificial sweetener in dry goods. On July 18, 1981, in order to accomplish this feat, Hayes had to overlook the scuttled grand jury testimony of Cyril, I don't know who that is, overcome the Bressler report, and ignore the PBOI's recommendations and pretend aspartame did not chronically sicken and kill thousands of lab animals. What?
How many of them had?
Oh my God, how much have I taken? Hayes left his post at the FDA in November of 1983 amid accusations that he was accepting corporate gifts for political favors. That's crazy. He wouldn't do that. Just before leaving office in scandal, Hayes approved of the use of aspartame in beverages. After Hayes left the FDA under allegations of impropriety, he served briefly as provost at New York Medical College and then took a position as a high-paid senior medical advisor with Bernson Marsteller, the chief public relations firm for both Monsanto and G.D. Searle. Since that time, he's never spoken publicly about aspartame. FYI, here's Rachel Maddow on Bernson Marsteller. When evil needs public relations, evil has Bernson Marsteller on speed dial. Evil, thy name is chemical food additives. Okay. Here's the kicker. When Searle was absorbed by Monsanto in 1985, Donald Rumsfeld reportedly received a $12 million bonus.
Okay, so yeah.
There it is. Yeah. So I think, though, what I think I've seen Lane Norton talk about is that the amount of aspartame that killed lab rats was preposterous. Like that a human being couldn't even consume that amount. That it would have to be something like, I forget the number, but it's some preposterous number. Like you'd have to drink 1,800 Diet Cokes a day or something like that. Something really nutty to get the amount that was sickening and killing these lab rats.
Well, how many of these rats had autism, though? You know?
How many of these rats were pussies? Couldn't take a little Diet Coke.
Autistic rats everywhere. Millions of them.
You know, there's the other thing that Brett Weinstein has brought up is like these lab mice and lab rats, like they're bred for that purpose, and so like they don't live long. Like it's not a good way to study long-term effects, and it's also like these are things that are literally bred to take fucking chemicals and have experiments run on them. Like the idea that these are just like normal mammals, it seems a little far-fetched because you're actually literally breeding them for testing things on them.
They should just grab them from New York. The New York rats,
bro. What a living hell to be an organism that just exists so that you can test potential toxins and poisons on human beings. And so your very life only exists to make the intelligent life forms think that they can live longer and better with your medication. And we all agree to it. We all like, yep, good way to do it. Practice on rats. Practice on monkeys.
Yeah, that's the most fucked up shit.
The monkey one is
stuff,
wild.
yeah.
The monkey one's wild because they're sort of like us. They're sort of like they can think and they react and they're grabbing things and you're sitting there like with fucking rods in your head and they're alive. The monkey one's wild because like it's something like there's like levels of things we're allowed to kill. Like if someone kills a bug, no one freaks out. Like I remember when I lived in Colorado, I went to this Buddhist ashram that was in my neighborhood. Just was kind of in the neighborhood, seeing what they're doing. And they actually had places they would rent out there, like houses that they had for rent. So there's people I knew that like wanted to live up there and they wanted to, rent a place. And the lady who had the ashram was spraying bug killer on ants. She had an ant problem. And I go, you poison the ants? She's like, well, it's really not what we want to do. But I go, but you're a Buddhist. You just committed mass murder for your convenience. Like if we think that every life form is a life form, if we think that 1 equals 1, like one roach that dies or one mouse that gets run over by a combine in a field where they're trying to cultivate wheat, 1 is 1. If that's the case, like you can't be spraying bug spray on ants. But we don't think that. We like even vegans get hit by a mosquito, they slap that motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
They kill that bitch, right? Everybody kills mosquitoes. Fuck you. I'm not going to be itchy for your life. No one says, just take from me what you need. The only reason why you're doing is because you're needy. Please take from me and make me itchy. Nobody does that. Everybody swats. If you find a tick, you pull that fucker off you. Oh my God, this tick, you kill it. You don't go, gotta let it go so it can give Lyme disease to other folks and other animals. Now you kill that little cocksucker, little blood-sucking piece of shit. You find a leech on you, little leech, do what you must. Take from me what you must. No, you peel that bitch
That's
off.
hilarious.
If you have to rip it in half, you rip it in half. But when it gets to like things with fur, then we go, oh, what are you doing? That thing has hair. That thing has hair on it. That's why people freak out way more over like if you have a picture with a dead deer versus a picture with a fish. Nobody gives a shit if you catch a fish. You can hold up a bass like David Lucas. He doesn't know hate. Nice bass, David. David's bass fishing motherfucker. He's good at it. He knows what he's doing. He catches some nice bass. But like nobody gets mad. But if David was like holding up a deer he shot, people would because it's got fur.
Except turtles and dolphins.
Yeah, you can't kill turtles.
I saw a video of somebody killing a turtle to eat it, though. And that
turtle soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, if you think about it, this turtle, how old is he? Probably like 100 years old, and he survived so much, and now he's just got picked by a
I don't
fish.
think those are the ones that live to be 100 years old.
Right.
I think that those are sea turtles.
Right.
Those regular turtles they make soup out of?
Yeah.
That bitch has been around for a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I used to have pet turtles.
Yeah.
I used to have pet piranhas and pet turtles. And the pet turtles were way more ferocious.
Were they?
Ferocious. We'd feed them goldfish, and they would just swim over those goldfish and grab them with their little paws and just chomp into them. It's like, whoa, they're ferocious. They're little dinosaurs. Turtles are fucking cool to have in an aquarium, but there's a lot of like risks of diseases and shit.
Really, on turtles?
Yeah, if you touch them, you have to really make sure you wash
I
your
didn't
hands.
know that.
Yeah, you can catch some funky shit, and especially look, they're shitting in this tank.
Right.
And then how often are you cleaning that water? You mean it's filtering, but how much is it filtering? How much are they shitting? They're in there eating goldfish all the time. They're probably shitting up a storm, and they're big, right? They're like this big, like.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
They eat blueberries?
No, turtle ASMR. Like
it's I've seen this before. It's great,
bro. That is an ancient being. I mean, that is essentially like what we would have seen during the dinosaur era. Exactly what we expect. Like a stegosaurus looked like.
Yeah. Sonny was the one that made, remember Sonny you had on your show?
Yes.
He's
From
the one that
best
has
ever
the video about eating the turtle, and he said it was the first time that like him and his wife both were like, should we even release this? Like, should we
really?
It was the one thing that affected him the most, though.
Why?
There's something about turtles, man. When you see this video, or you can probably take a peek of it, but like the turtle is just like, it is so fucking sad,
that's
man.
a big ass turtle. Okay, so that is one of those turtles.
Yeah, and
that's one of those sea turtles.
Yeah, when they show his face, like, and they just have it like,
oh Jesus.
Yeah, it is. Like, look at that. Look at this poor.
Oh yeah,
dude,
that's
it's
rough.
Fucked up, man. I got so emotional about this video. I mean, just look at his little
They're gonna
face.
eat this thing?
Oh, they just start smashing it.
And so this is a thing they do all the time?
Yeah.
Oh my God! So the thing is still alive while they're killing it.
Yep. It's horrible.
Oh man. There's a thing too about them having armor, so they kind of most of the time are protected.
Yeah.
That we kind of realize how vulnerable they are when a person gets them. Like, oh no, he's gonna get you now.
Yeah.
Like your whole life, you've had an awesome protection provided to you by nature.
Oh my God.
Oh, and he's doing it while it's still alive.
Yes.
Why doesn't he kill it first?
It seems like
I think they smashed its head in or something.
Dude, it's moving still.
Oh God, I don't want to watch. I stopped watching this part. This part.
It seemed like when he was cutting into it, its legs were moving. Okay, it's dead by then, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's got a color.
Bro, that's rough. Why is it so rough?
Oh, jeez.
How old is a sea turtle when it's that big?
That's what I'm saying.
And they're just gonna eat it.
Yeah, he talks about how emotional he's getting in at this part. Like,
ooh, did he try it?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, I guess you have to. I mean, they already killed it.
Right. And I guess the reason they're allowed to do it is because it's their religion or something like that. It's
part of the native traditions. It's
Right.
like the reason why people like the Inuit are allowed to hunt seals and whales and shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Like there's animals that no one's allowed to hunt, but they can hunt them. And then like Bourdain did a show once where he went to this family's house and they killed a seal and then they brought it home and in the kitchen floor, they laid it out and butchered it in the kitchen floor and they were all just eating raw seal on the kitchen floor. I'm like, wow. Mm-hmm. And again, modern times, normal time, like right now. They're probably doing that right now somewhere. Someone has a seal, and the whole family's excited that they got one, and they're eating raw seal, like kids. See if we can find that.
Ugh.
It's pretty fascinating because you're realizing like, well, if you lived up there, that's what you eat. Like you don't. So here's the whole family. So they're sitting around in I don't know where they were, but so they got this seal that they're butchering right there, and people are just taking bites.
Ew, blood
Like, look at
everywhere.
this. Yeah, and they're eating the blood. They're eating everything. Every little piece of nutritious meat that comes from that seal, they consume. But the crazy thing is they're eating it raw. Like, and he eats it raw right there.
No.
Can you give me some volume on this?
Yeah. Not actually eaten per se, more sucked and chewed to extract a tiny nugget of meat from within the blubber and cartilage. Oh, that is good. It's like, it tastes like sea urchin roe. And of course, and it was inevitable, really, wasn't it? I'm offered the best part, the eyeball, to be slit and sucked out like a fat Concord grape. I'll split it with you. This is an act of pure generosity and kindness to an honored guest.
Cannibals.
You gotta cut it in the middle. Look how she has that like blubber knife.
Not bad. Has a blood-smeared face and gore-covered hands ever looked so benevolent, so kind of sweet? Is this any...
Isn't that wild? He's hilarious. I miss that dude.
Yeah.
That's a real part of some people's lives. Would you want to live in a world where everything goes Mad Max, or would you want to get jacked?
Jacked? Oh.
Like a missile to hit your house?
Probably jacked. I would have to get some guns and stuff. And really...
It's not even just that. It's like, what is life like?
Yeah, I don't want to...
But people have done that. That's why we're here. We're here because people didn't pack it in.
Right.
This is the kind of shit that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I would definitely... We would have the whole family get together and we would all shit each other or something at the same time.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Brian. That'd be like that scene in The Mist where the guy shoots his whole family and then the military arrives and he realized he would have been safe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's a good Stephen King book. That book is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
They did a good job with the movie. The latest, I think there's been more than one The Mists. Have there been more?
I don't know.
No, maybe not. You know what I saw recently that I didn't know? It said it was from 2022, but I don't think that's correct. There was a Salem's Lot with Rob Lowe.
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
My girlfriend saw it.
2004.
Okay, that makes sense. Because it said 2022.
It might have got put on, like a streaming service or something.
Right. I think it was on Apple.
Let me see, but I did just see that when I was typing it in. But yeah, 2004, I think it was a TV miniseries. I kind of remember that.
And there was a miniseries long before that, too.
Let's see, 2023.
Stephen King's TV shows are always so fun to watch, though. They're not as good as the movies.
No. Salem's Lot.
2023.
2023. Oh, there's a new one they're working on.
Return to Salem's Lot.
87.
Oh.
Bro, we never get tired of vampires. You know what I saw that's good? The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Demeter? What's that?
It's a vampire movie. It's about Dracula's coffin getting transported across the ocean on a boat.
Cool.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's fun. It's like it's a good vampire movie. A good CGI Dracula vampire movie.
Did you see the new Black Spider-Man?
There's a new Spider-Man?
Well, I mean the second one.
You mean the cartoon one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my god, dude.
Is it awesome? The first one was amazing.
It almost made me cry how good it was.
Really?
It's way better. I mean, I thought it was better than the first one. How it ends.
I haven't seen it. Yeah, the first one was awesome because you can do shit with animation that you just can't do any other way.
It is probably my favorite. Those two movies are probably my top favorite movies of all time, I think.
Well, it's such a good superhero movie because it's so comic book like. Okay, Salem's Lot 2023. Warner Brothers has never announced another release date for the film. It says August 24th, 2022, Warner Brothers announced that Salem's Lot was losing its April 21st, 2023 release date to Evil Dead Rise in a week. That will have been exactly 1 year ago, and yet Warner Brothers has never announced another release date for the film.
I was trying to see where it was. I don't think it came out.
Is there somebody that got canceled in the cast?
I have no idea. That wasn't saying. It was like a...
Maybe they wanted to reshoot shit.
Theatrical release during COVID, and I don't think that they put it
Yeah,
out.
maybe it sucks.
Sometimes they'll get to the end of a film being made, and they're like, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
Like, we have to do
We're
something.
going to lose money even putting this out.
They've done that before,
Oh, yeah,
right?
tons of times.
Yeah, that's bro, imagine that business. You're hoping these guys get this together and put together something you can watch.
No release.
No release.
Shelved.
Unless you got a guy like James Cameron that always knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
How much money are involved in those fucking movies? That's kind of crazy that it's not announced at all.
Yeah, I forget what it was, but there was a comparison on that a bunch of these new horror movies they're making, the budgets aren't super high because there's not a lot of people you don't have to pay a big cast, so they can make them for a lot less, and they're making fuckloads of money at the theater every weekend.
Right.
You go spend $100 million on a big movie and no one sees it.
If you do a movie like a superhero movie, you can kind of have anybody play it. As long as you have the real superhero. Like if it's Spider-Man, you got a new Spider-Man, you can get some good guy that no one's ever heard of, and you'll buy him a Spider-Man if he's good.
Yeah. I like the newest Spider-Man guy. He's my favorite one.
They're all good, but it's crazy how many there have been. Like when they had that one multiverse with Doctor Strange, you see all the Spider-Mans. Like,
Isn't that hilarious?
What's the explanation for this again? Yeah. But there's certain things that we will 100% watch every time, and that's Spider-Man. That's one of them. The Hulk is another one. Every time they make a new Hulk movie, we're in. You know,
Star Wars.
Eric Bana was the first one, right?
Yep, Bana.
And then there was Bana, and then there was Ed Norton. He was the Hulk, and then Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo is the best one. He's the one I most believe is a super genius that becomes psychotic when he gets mad. You know?
Yeah.
Because he seems to have he's got that troubled genius thing down. It's nice. I buy it.
Yeah.
But he's going to quit now. He's not going to be the Hulk. So they need a new Hulk. Who? Tony. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I'm number one.
Yeah, who's going to be the new Hulk? But someone will do it, and you'll buy into it 100%, as long as it's a good Hulk movie. The good Hulk origin story. You know what I'm amazed that they never did anything with? The Watchmen.
What? Yeah, they did, but they
did the TV show, but the TV show was not the same.
Right.
They had that one fucking amazing movie.
Right.
It's one of the best superhero movies ever. Anti-superhero movie. They're all terrible.
Right.
And it's just like murder and chaos, and it's a crazy fucking movie, man. Like you'd have a really hard time making The Watchmen today.
I don't know, because I mean, look at Deadpool. Deadpool is pretty
not as much as The Watchmen.
Yeah.
The Watchmen, they're all evil. Like everyone's a bad guy. Like a lot of people are they're superheroes are evil, and they kill a lot of people. And then you see his big blue dick. You see Dr. Manhattan's big blue dick.
So
you wouldn't be able
funny.
to show a big blue dick today. People get mad.
That was such a weird thing.
It was such a weird thing. It's just super muscular, ripped guy who's floating around with a glow around him with a giant hog. Pull that up, Jamie. Pull up Dr. Manhattan's giant dick.
The fake one.
Oh, what put him a G-string now? Come on, that was part of the thing that he could just show you his dick and you still had to listen because he was Dr. Manhattan. He was literally a god. So that one you see his hog.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy though that we had decided that that's not good. You couldn't have that. Also, kind of crazy that he had sexual relationships with human beings after that, right? Look at that one with his little bikini shorts on, where you just the circle. Why are you doing that? Why are you hiding his cock?
Yeah.
You know what it is.
That's a wallpaper for your iPhone.
The problem with the one that they had that was on Amazon or whatever it was that the dude who played Dr. Manhattan was just a regular dude. He wasn't jacked enough. You have to be preposterous. And you have to look like that guy with the suit on. See, that's the guy that they had in the Amazon show. Sorry, buddy.
I don't like his forehead.
Who cares? He looks like a regular guy. He looks like a guy who does CrossFit. But then Dr. Manhattan looks like a god.
He looks a badass.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a human being. You can't have him in a T-shirt. The other guy looked like a human, like a normal human who would be teaching at SoulCycle.
It says right there, John Cena teasing his rumored role. Up a little more. Right there, right. See, right there.
I mean, this could have been from any time in the world. Yes, this was supposed to be part of the TV
Okay,
show.
but that makes sense.
He would be so good.
He's built like Dr. Manhattan.
Yep, he'd be
literally.
awesome.
That's what Dr. Manhattan's supposed to look like.
Yep.
That's why you can't have a regular guy. And you also got to make him fucked up too. You got to make his eyes glow. You got to make his skin glow. He's got to look ridiculous, like he's not supposed to be there, like something from another realm. You can't have a regular guy with a T-shirt on. You're changing what it is. You can't have the Thing, and now he's just got a little eczema.
But do you think they should bring the dick back or have a fanny pack?
Let's go. Let's fucking go. Bring back Dr. Manhattan's cock. If you can't handle it, you shouldn't be watching it. Do you not know what a dick looks like? You know what it looks like.
So funny, though.
But why are we pretending you can't show
funny.
that? It's so weird. We can't show that anymore. Like, we can't show it now. But they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. They did then. Like, isn't that weird?
That is weird.
That as time goes on, you would think people would relax more about that stuff.
Right.
Do you know, I was going to bring this up before. We were talking about porn theaters. Do you know that when Deep Throat came out, regular people went to go see it like it was a movie, including Johnny Carson. Like, Johnny Carson was in line talking about the movie, and like they interviewed him outside of a theater. Yeah. Like, it was the first time that they had made a pornographic movie and made it like a cinematic movie and trick people into going and watching this like it's a real movie.
Wow.
See if you can find that.
I would love to see what Johnny said about it, you know?
Oh, it was a wonderful film.
Weird, wacky, wild.
I was looking at the
Ed jerked off right in front of me.
the wiki here. It says that it was like a thing for a minute. The upper middle class people were going to see it.
Yeah, see? The film's popularity helped launch a brief period of upper middle class interest in explicit pornography, referred to by Ralph Blumenthal of the New York Times as porno chic. Several mainstream celebrities admitted to have seen Deep Throat, including Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, Truman Capote, Jack Nicholson, and Johnny Carson, Spiro Agnew, Frank Sinatra, Philip Dresman, and Louis Durfort. I don't know who those folks are. Barbara Walters mentions having seen the film in her autobiography, Audition, a memoir, and Jimmy McMillan considered it to be his favorite film.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who's that guy? Look at him. That's my favorite movie. He's an American political... Go back to what that said before?
Right here.
Oh, American political activist and Vietnam War veteran.
He's the rent is too
He was a
damn high
candidate, perennial candidate in New York City.
That's who we like.
Oh, he's the rent is too high guy. Oh, that guy's hilarious. That guy was hilarious. Okay. He's just saying wild shit. In 2006, a censored version of the film was released on DVD for fans of pop culture and those wishing to own a non-X-rated copy of the infamous movie. Deep Throat was the first film to be inducted into the XRCO Hall of Fame. What did you scroll up there, Jamie?
The revenue.
Oh. Estimates of the film's total revenues have varied widely. Numbers as high as 600 million, equivalent to 4.2 billion today, have been cited, which would make Deep Throat one of the highest grossing films of all time, with an average ticket price of $5, which is $34.98 today. Box office takings of 600 million would imply 120 million admissions, an unrealistic figure. Although subsequent sales of the films on home video certainly brought additional revenue, the FBI's estimates that the film produced an income of approximately 100 million, which is 700 million today, may be closer to the truth. Wow.
So Scorsese, they were doing research, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Research. It's just doing research. Isn't that wild, though, that, like, that's how much culture can just shift and change on a whim? People can just decide that, like, hardcore pornography, hey, let's go see a wacky film. Let's go watch someone suck a cock until they choke. Like, what? And it's always a thing, though, right? Why can we see real violence in a film, but we can't handle real sex, right? You could see a film. I mean, how many major films, how many Tarantino films, you see people get shot in the face? Some of them are horrific, like Hateful Eight. Like, there's some scenes in that movie, like, oh my God. There's so many movies like that. So many movies where you can see horrific violence, but you can't have actual sex.
Religion.
Is that what it is?
100%.
I think people freak out about watching people fuck. They freak out about watching someone fuck on screen.
Whores.
Like, but it's just seeing actual intercourse, even between two people that love each other. Nobody wants to see that. You want it to, like, simulate it. They're in bed together, but for some reason there's a sheet over them, and they're kissing, and she's wrapping her arms around them. Everything's close up, so you know what's going on, but you don't actually see it happening. Whereas we don't do that with violence. Like where a guy turns a corner, he points the gun, and you just see the gun go off, and then the guy's dead, and you know he's dead. You don't have to see it. No, you see it. You see the guy get shot. Isn't that interesting? Kind of weird.
I really think it's religion because, like, look at how many people, don't have sex before marriage, or
very few,
and
very few,
right? But yet they're all those people that are for or against like that kind of stuff. Still have no problem with violence and war.
Well, not necessarily, because there's a lot of atheists that are anti-pornography. A lot of people think it exploits women. That there's some people that are making money off it. It's not the women. You take these people that are damaged and you expose them to the world in this weird, vulnerable way, and they don't know any better. And there's a lot of thoughts that people have about pornography in general, and people that are not religious. So it's not that that pornography is not controversial to like a lot of people. It's just a weird thing where films are allowed to show certain things, but not actual sex.
Right.
Like even if you just CGI'd it. Like, what if you had these people and they wore green suits on and you would never show that. Even if you know that that's fake sex, because the actors were not forced to have sex with each other. They faked it, and then they used CGI to make it look like it was intercourse. And you could see penetration. Everybody would be like, what the fuck are you showing me? It's weird, right?
Great.
Well, meanwhile, pornography is like this massive part of the internet. Like just a giant chunk of all the things that all the internet traffic is pornography. Do you remember that movie Brown Bunny?
No.
That was a Vincent Gallo movie where Vincent Gallo had an actual sex scene in the movie. Yeah. What's that girl's name? Chloe Sevigny. You know that girl? Really good actress.
How long ago was this?
Quite a while ago. It was like, can I guess? 2002? What year was it?
I was looking at something. I was looking at the history of obscenity rules and where this came from. People, like, when they were first starting to make film, were trying to push the limits of it. And this is one of the first ones, according to the thing I was just reading, that did it. Like 1897, I think this was made. It's called Carmencita, I think. It's a very short film of a woman dancing.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the problem here is, like, you can see her ankles.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's obscene, apparently.
Oh, wow, because she's spinning around.
And,
she's wild.
And you can see her dress was a little too short here.
That's hilarious.
It's like not touching the ground.
Now imagine showing them Lizzo. They would go, what happened?
Whap.
But yet, still, sex in movies is a no-no. So what year was Brown Bunny?
Does he fuck this bunny?
No, I don't think.
Just start off with a white bunny.
I don't remember. I don't think I saw the film.
2003.
2003. I don't think I saw the film.
Oh.
But I remember people went to see it and they were furious that there was like an actual blowjob scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How'd they do that?
Actual blowjob.
Like
that she actually
stunt cock, stunt mouth.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Real actor,
That's
real
a
actress.
real actor right there.
But isn't it kind of crazy that when you're seeing something like people do that, people like that, they do it all the time. And you could pretend to see it in a film. Like if she just started going down on him and you saw the back of her head and you just close up on his face, that's happened a million times in movies. Nobody has a problem with that. That's like make you slightly uncomfortable, but at least you're not seeing it. But to actually see it, people are like, this is crossing a line. We're weird.
Really weird.
We're so weird. Humans are so weird. If you were observing us, if you're from another planet, you're observing us like, why are they so comfortable with violence and they're so weird about sex when it comes to like seeing it?
Well, it's also United States compared to other countries.
Right.
You know? I mean, the other countries have tits on the news, like,
right. England used to always have like a page of their newspaper that was like girls were topless.
Yeah.
But that's still very different than putting it in their films. They've still had violent films,
right?
But they don't have actual sex. Like, isn't that wild? Kind of weird.
It's Asia with pixelation, not
that's
showing
really weird.
Yeah,
that's really
tentacle
weird.
Porn.
Is that what country is that? Is it Japan? Japan. So Japan, you can't see pubes and you can't see genitals.
You can't see genitals, insertion.
Yeah, so everything's pixelated out.
Right. That's why how tentacle porn came about, because they could show insertion. I think it's just penis Or, I don't know. I
Is
heard-
that where tentacle porn?
That's what
comes
I was
from?
always told. It might be an urban legend, but I was
always told. How many times have you been told this?
A lot of times. But yeah,
Is that really what it is?
I think so. I think it had something to do with the censorship there because it wasn't a penis inserting. I think it's just inserting.
Do they still have those censorship laws in
I
Japan?
want to say yes.
Wow.
Because most of the porn doesn't come from Japan.
Isn't that crazy though that you say like people get too wild, they see it actually go in there.
Right.
You just show them most of it. Don't show it going. That'll be the downfall of society.
Yeah.
We'll pixelate out the dicks.
It's weird.
So strange. It's so strange. Okay, I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, "What is that? Why is there pixels?"
I thought somebody just uploaded it and did it. I didn't
I
think
thought it was just edited, like
right.
to make it like so you could put it on the internet. Like, what'd you do?
It's very weird.
Very strange. But I guess you could fake it that way. That's like we were talking about, like the two actors, if they wore green suits and you CGI'd, you could just fake the pixels. Nobody has to know it's an actual dick. She could just do a lot of that, and he's limp, and it's just pretend. It's just what people allow and don't allow is so odd. It's so odd. In some countries, just think about Sharia law, right? Think about some countries where women have to be covered.
Yeah.
And then in other countries, nothing.
That's hot, though. I always, that's something you put in the search once in a while on Pornhub, like girls wearing like the things.
I think that's very dangerous to even admit. You imagine to make those films?
Is what Duncan Trussell was telling me.
No. Imagine making those films. Like, that's a risk.
Yeah.
Like if you're a woman and you make one of those films, I'd imagine like they are very mad at you.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's also happening in 2023. What a wild time to be alive, sir.
Scary times.
It's definitely not unexciting. It's just so fraught with peril and terrible possibilities. Do you think about it all the time or no?
I do. Like I said, I've been really thinking about end of times all the time, just
I got a question for you.
Protect family.
Why don't you look into Jesus?
I already was through. I went through that. I grew up that way, and I'm glad to be out of that.
Yeah. It'd be amazing if that was the answer.
Yeah.
It would be amazing if the aliens came too. That would be nice. If you guys are going to come, it's like, if you're really going to prevent the world from falling apart, it's probably a good time. No, it was a good time. I don't know if you want to see how we sort this out, but, what is this? Here we go. We'll end it with this. The best part's the beginning, though, Jamie.
Oh, I was just sort of. I was trying
An
to fade
outro?
it in there. Yeah, I was just
Okay. All right, let's wrap this up. Kill Tony on YouTube every
Yes.
Monday. You guys
Yes.
have 2 weeks off. That's got to be
Yes,
nice.
taking a little break. It's
Here
great.
it goes.
Drown your sorrows till you can't stand up. And take a look at what you've done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow fingered from your cigarettes. Your hands are shaking while your body sweats. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answers.
Ooh,
It's good. What?
Yeah.
What?
Janis Joplin version.
Oh, my God.
Are you
Here we
serious?
go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, my
There's a lot of
God.
covers of it.
Whoo.
Oh, that's good to know.
Give me the Janis Joplin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Please.
Sipping whiskey from a paper cup. You drown your sorrows till
Is that her or is that him?
That sounds like him.
Hold on.
Take a look at what you've done to you.
I think that was him.
That's him?
Yeah, that sounded like him.
Where's the Janis Joplin version?
It's just a pic. They might have tricked me on YouTube.
Maybe she sings in it. That seemed a little different.
It says Janis Joplin version. Okay.
Keep it going. Let's
Drown
see.
your sorrows till you can't stand up. Take a look
bunch of
at
pictures
what
of her.
you've
That
done
could
to
just be what it
yourself.
is.
Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf? Yellow fingered from your cigarettes. Your hands are shaking while your body sweats. Why don't you look at
No, that's him.
Yeah. I almost think
Keep
like
it going though.
maybe he's talking to her.
That's him.
Did you write it for her?
Maybe. No, it says Larry Norman.
72. Yeah, so I thought that's why
Janis
I stopped, 'cause
Joplin
it seemed
version.
like it was on his
Let's see what
channel.
goes on.
Valentine's Day. You're still looking for the perfect play. You think rock and roll will set you free, honey. You'll be dead before you're 33. Shooting junk till you're half insane. A broken needle in your purple vein. Why don't you look into Jesus? He got the answer.
Maybe like it was a message to Janis
That's what I
Joplin.
was thinking.
Sleep all day.
Totally, that's what it is. Right?
All the way.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna be a superstar, but you never hung around enough to find out who you really are.
This song slaps. I mean, that's kind of the Janis Joplin story.
Yeah.
However, Janis songs were way better than that.
Yeah.
You know, that lady. Okay, let's end with this. Play Take a Little Piece of My Heart. This is, to me, when you think about like all-time soulful songs, like that lady's voice was haunting. It had so much depth and emotion. And this is like a quintessential 1960s rock and roll song.
Like you were the only man.
Oh, come on, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't I give you everything that a woman possibly can? Honey, you know I did. But each time I tell myself that when I think I've had enough, but when I'm gonna show you, baby, that a woman can't be tough. I want you to come on, come on, come on, come on and take it. Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Take another little piece of my heart now, yeah, yeah, yeah. Take another little piece of my heart now, baby. Well, you know you got it if it makes you feel good. Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah. Why do people like her have to die so young?
You're out on the streets looking good.
They just need more of them. You know, there's not any
But
Janis
it's-
Joplins anymore.
It's like to come up with something like this, it's like you have to live so hard. You have to live so hard to be this lady.
Well, just need to bring Narcan wherever you go.
It's such a good song. Oh, what a good song. All right, Brian Redban, I love you.
Love you too, buddy.
It was fun.
Definitely.
Goodbye, everybody. Hopefully, there'll be a world tomorrow. We love you.